pragmatic pathway forward to finding a long-term peace deal?
I just think they're going to make a deal. Look, this deal has been in the works for a long time. It's got the pluses, the minuses. They know what it is. He knows what it is better than anybody. And I just think it's sometimes, I used an analogy, and it sounds simple, but it's sort of true. You have two kids in a park, and they don't like each other, and they start fighting. Sometimes you have to let them fight. Let them see that it's tough. It's tough. Fighting is tough. And he's done an amazing job. Look, he's been very effective. Now he's had the best equipment because he's had our equipment, and he's had great. But somebody has to use that equipment, and you have a lot of brave people that are using that equipment. And Russia, it's a big country, but it's a big force. Russia's always been a big fighting force, so it's. But I really believe it's ready. It's very interesting because you'd almost say it's worse than ever, and maybe it isn't. Sometimes with war, and you study war, and I've studied it so long, for years, long before I did this, sometimes it's when it gets the worst. And I don't know that it's the worst right now. It's consistently bad. They lost 25,000 people were lost, kids, young people, last month. And we had a month, 35, 2 months ago. And I would say more Russians. But it's just, they're people. They're people. And there's actually very little difference between the people. I mean, it's like the Russian.
Go behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people. Transformed, Monday and Thursday on theDove TV, encouraging and informative. Idaho and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on theDove. And I'll tell you what, folks, we have a very special surprise today for you. As you know, on Wednesdays, we call it the surprise guest host. Well, we went over the top to get today's guest host. And only because we caught him doing something that he shouldn't be doing, so then now there's no more excuses why he couldn't be on the air. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Bilden from...
A little bit of lawn mowing, and look what's happening as a result.
He's at the Northern Command this morning. Steve is the Southern Command. Jerry's up at the Northern Command. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. You're looking good.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Oh, man, I can't tell you how good it is to be here. The coffee's warm, and the lawn is mowed, edged, and...
You didn't edge it.
No, Pam, I can't do that. She helps me up on the mower, but yeah. I can't do anything with the edger. So, but she's doing a great job, and I appreciate the support.
Well, people stop praying for your leg now. They're praying for your overall mental capacity. For riding a zero-turn motor with a broken leg is that's kind of over the top. I sent that video to your surgeon.
Thank you. Oh gosh, so I got some explaining to do.
Yeah, there you go.
The nice thing about getting on the zero turn, though, Perry, is it's freedom for me. I can't hardly get around. You get on that lawnmower, it's like you're almost normal again.
I totally get it. I told everybody this is a result of cabin fever.
Yes. Oh, boy. You said that right.
Well, give us an update. For folks who don't know, you're going to be with us today, but next week things change again for you.
Yeah, we go back up to Seattle early next week, and a general appointment to see what the status is of the apparatus that they have on my leg right now, which is kind of gnarly. And if everything looks right, they'll schedule, we have an appointment Tuesday morning, and if it looks right, they'll schedule me for Thursday morning surgery, where they'll remove this, and then they'll put the next one on and hopefully send me home. I don't know if that's an overnight stay or not, but one more surgery coming up. We got a gnarly bone infection through this one, too, so they've been pounding it with some heavy antibiotics, and so I'll be on those those actually for the next 2 months. But we got word yesterday that they've been working, and it is being knocked down, and all the markers look good, and that's important for surgery next week. So, we're hopeful, and we just, keep going down that path. And when I get a chance to get on the mower and do that, I do that as well. But it was good to get out of bed.
Well, okay. And I know that those horse pills that we're taking, that'll put you in another zone,
Oh, I didn't know antibiotics could kick you like that. Oh my goodness, what an experience that was. But so there was like mega doses of TNT that they were giving me, but apparently they're working. So we just keep going on.
Well, you're looking good, buddy. Thanks for being here today. People have been praying for you and asking all about you, and we tried to raise money off your broken leg. That didn't work.
Well, I hope that's working for you. But as far as what you're saying, people are praying. I've been feeling those prayers. The cards that folks have sent in are so appreciated. Pam and I have been going through them, and it's very touching to read the notes and get the cards, and so greatly appreciated. Thank you to everybody.
Okay, so he's broadcasting live this morning from a Pam zone up there at the Northern Command. So. Yeah. All right. Good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. Some big news as President was at the NATO meeting in Turkey. Some things have coming out of that last night. Pretty active over Iran. We'll talk about that. But anything special today?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is something I wasn't aware of. It's National Scud Day.
Scud.
If I was going to label this, I would call it National Crud Day. It's an invitation to step away from stressful conflicts, toxic gossip, and overwhelming news feeds and replace them with pure, lighthearted silliness.
Okay.
Tuning into Mornings on the Dove. We look at them, but we don't get too serious about it. Next, especially because we're in the middle of hot weather, we have a few things to eat, starting off with National Freezer Pop Day.
Ooh.
It brings a sweet chill of relief on these hot days, whatever flavor you like, enjoy. Also, this is the first ever National Cucumber Salad Day. Do you like cucumbers?
Yeah, and I like cucumber salad. Depends how it's fixed, though.
Yeah, I agree, and it's a great summer treat. And of course, it's garden stuff, and everybody's gardens are going right now. Do you have anything planted?
Flowers.
Yeah, us too. That's about as far as we go. But cucumber salad is good. Enjoy. Also, National Raspberry Day.
Ooh.
Summertime fruit known as raspberries. We all like raspberries. And, of course, continuing with the summer theme and trying to cool off. And one last thing, non-edible, it is National Video Game Day.
Okay.
And this is interesting because the video industry is the most profitable sectors in the global economy. The video game market is projected to exceed $300 billion this year, and gaming revenue is more than 3 times the music industry and almost 4 times as much as the movie industry. Video games, of course, names in video gaming, the companies are Sony Interactive, Microsoft Gaming, and Nintendo. And of course, they all sell a lot because the global 3 billion gamers worldwide. Do any video game?
No, but I do know that it is an addiction. And
it is. Absolutely. I am not a video gamer except for one. And it's easy to do in bed recovering.
Oh.
On an iPad.
Oh, there you go.
It's called
what?
World Golf Tournament.
Oh, there you go.
I can't golf worth a lick, but you golf against all these people all around the world, and then you chat on the side while you're golfing.
Oh, really?
Some people, it's interesting. Because you golf with people from around the world. Some people are really nice, and some people are scud.
Yeah, I get it. No, well, the video thing is so interesting to me. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's addictive, and it's also very dangerous.
Yeah, I think so. And it's interesting too, because you get those conversations going on, and unfortunately we talk about toxicity, and there are some seriously toxic people out there who are just looking for opportunities to get in, and really where this really rears its ugly head is with kids.
It's an addiction. But you had a story, I don't know if you remember the story, you had a story about a couple of months ago where grandma went into her own video gaming room and she had all these screens set up. You remember that story?
Yeah.
And she was like well in her 60s or 70s or something like that, and she's a gamer. She put the headset on the way she went,
Right. She's like the Black Widow or something like that. Yeah, just go out there and just annihilate people. I think it gives people a chance to express that hidden side of their brain.
Yeah.
They kind of have the anonymity of their little gamer name, and they don't have their real face out there. So, look out.
Well, it does give a false sense of life, because the video game people, you can wipe them out and they get up and you play them again.
You are right. There's no real death, is there?
Yeah, no, there isn't, and that psychologically messes things up. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, raspberries, we can do that. Cucumbers, we can do that. All right, sounds good. All right, let's check out the weather, and here's Alfred this morning.
Here's a look at Tuesday's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, gradual clearing brings highs in the upper 70s for Vancouver and Portland, while Wilsonville and McMinnville turn mostly sunny with afternoon temperatures in the low 80s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny conditions continue with highs around 82 to 83 degrees in Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene. Central Oregon starts with improving conditions as Prineville and Bend become sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s, while Sun River stays sunny near 83. Boise turns much hotter with patchy smoke and a high near 98 before cooling into the lower 60s tonight. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay, Brookings, and Crescent City begin with patchy fog before turning sunny, with highs ranging from the upper 50s to upper 60s. Port Orford sees decreasing clouds and reaches the mid-60s. Across southern Oregon, sunshine dominates with highs in the upper 80s for Grants Pass, Ashland, and Klamath Falls, while Medford reaches 90. Overnight temperatures fall back into the 50s. Northern California stays mostly dry with sunny skies in Wairika near 92 and Chico in the mid-90s. Redding turns hot with a high of 99, while Fort Bragg sees decreasing clouds and a much cooler high near 58 before lows return to the 50s tonight. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa near 82, while Napa clears after patchy fog and reaches 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds with a high of 66, and San Jose becomes sunny near 79. Across Central California, sunny conditions continue with highs near 90 in Sacramento, and Stockton Modesto climbing into the mid to upper 90s from Fresno, Visalia to Bakersfield. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a shot, the iconic shot off the top of Roxy Ann, looking to the northeast this morning. As you can see, the sun's clear over on the western side of Mount Pitt this morning. Beautiful sunrise. One of those moments right now is the sun's sneaking up over the mountains and the moon's kind of, disappearing over the other side. So sunrise and a moon set this morning. All right. Good morning to y'all. What's Jerry's with me?
All right.
Yes,
well, that is
Look at that. Jerry's with me.
Yeah. How about that beautiful sunrise? It's all happening over my shoulders here as well. But here's something I know a little bit about, Perry. Do you go through your day and get advice from voices coming in different directions, maybe trying to influence how you go about your day and some of the issues that you're dealing with in your day? I think all of us
want me to answer
a bit
that?
Oh boy. And, it's amazing how many people I bump into who are medical experts.
And broadcasting experts.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, it really boils down to listening to the right voice. Are you hearing the right voice? Well, here with some great encouragement is Pastor Greg Laurie.
One of my favorite stories in the Bible that I already referenced not long ago was the story when Jesus healed the daughter of Jairus. The daughter was very ill, at death's door. He got Jesus to agree to come to his home and lay his hands on the daughter. But as they were on the way, the daughter died. And they came to Jairus and said, "Don't bother Jesus, your daughter has died." And Jesus heard that and said, "Don't be afraid, only believe." Jairus had a choice as to which voice to listen to, the voice of the person who gave him this horrible news or the voice of Jesus. He made the right choice and he listened to Jesus. Every day we decide what voice we'll listen to. You can listen to the voice of culture. You can even listen to the voice of the devil, who might say, you're worthless, you'll never amount to anything, you're a failure, your life is cursed. Don't listen to him, he's a liar and the father of lies. Listen to the voice of God. God says, I love you, I have a plan for you, I can cause all things to work together for good in your life. I have a purpose and future for you. Listen to the voice of God. It can make all the difference in the world.
Well, that is so true. What's going on in your backyard there?
How about that? You saw Wilson. She just kind of, she just moved out.
I don't know if that was, is it, you got Bigfoot grazing around out there?
All right.
All right. Good stuff all the way around. All right. Well, listen, I can tell you this. You asked the question, are you easily distracted? You know, I have to think today that the number one tool of the enemy is distraction.
No doubt.
More than,
Yeah, I think so.
more than temptation.
And, you know, we talk about, you know, this thing that labeled ADHD or ADD.
Yeah.
I think that all of us have it to some extent, especially because we have so many things that can distract us.
Yeah.
In the middle of talking here, something will ding on your phone or on your
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Or come in on a news feed, and you may be in the middle of something that you are earnestly trying to tackle, and then boom, you're gone. It's tough.
It's easily distracted. I mean, anyway, I can go down that road and get distracted, so I won't do that. Let's check out some of the top stories for today. Happy Wednesday with you. Jared's with me. Always great. Well, some interesting things are taking place. It looks like the ceasefire is off in the Middle East. We'll come to that in a minute. In the meantime, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is basically saying, look, you can't trust these people. They're totally untrustworthy. Here's what he had to say.
No, of course you can't trust them, and therefore, I don't know if there will be a deal or no deal. I've pledged, as President Trump has pledged, that Iran under no circumstances would have nuclear weapons, and I stand by that. Now, what do you do when you make a deal with someone you don't trust? You make sure that you have 100 ways to verify compliance with the deal. That is, if you have a deal at all. So I think it's too early to say, but I personally would not trust Iran the length of this room, which is about 3 meters long. So no, they're totally untrustworthy.
So doesn't look that's going to happen. In the meantime, the president has declared that the ceasefire with Iran is over. Last night, they did some extensive bombing in Iran, primarily because Iran had struck some ships, commercial ships inside the Straits of Hormuz, and that's pretty much ends the deal. And the president now basically said the ceasefire is over, pretty much has opened up firing there in the Straits of Hormuz. And, of course, this is right in the middle of his NATO summit meeting in Turkey. And so he is... he's trying to see where NATO is as far as the alliance is concerned and what he is doing in Iran. And he did single out one ally and, quite frankly, came down on Spain, basically saying to Spain, we're not doing business with you anymore. We're going to stop all trade, and asking and telling basically the other members of NATO to forget Spain. Boy, that was pretty harsh. And in the meantime, he has put back into place all the sanctions back on Iran. So quite the turn of events within 24 hours. Were you
Hey, Perry, I've got a quick question because I want to ask you about it. But it looks like we're getting some internet issues here.
Yeah.
Am I fuzzing out?
Yeah, you're fuzzing out again. It's your medication, Jerry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was just me.
No, it is. It is.
I wanted to ask you about, the Spain thing caught my eye, but also President Trump was saying a lot of very positive things about the leader of Turkey, about Erdogan. And he's a good friend and a good ally. Do you have any thoughts
I don't know what to think. I don't know if he can be trusted. Turkey, oddly enough, is a member of NATO, which is in itself a stretch. It goes back to the central cause and purpose of NATO. So I'm going to write this off as Trumpism. In other words, he is working Turkey to bring about his overall Middle East plan, and what that is, I don't know. But when I saw him get off the plane and they were buds and all this and that, and I'm going, really? But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, his tactics and his way of doing deals is entirely different to anybody else. But while he's cuddling up to Turkey, so to speak, I'll say that respectfully, he's totally turned the tables around in Iran. And so we went from, now that the 4th of July is behind us, I think he's realizing, and the world and his counselors are telling him, especially Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, you can't deal with Iran, so end this thing, finish the job. And so where does that leave a country like Turkey? Where does it leave Turkey? Where does it leave the Abrahamic Accord? I don't know. We're not inside baseball here. We're just armchair commentators, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I'm uncomfortable with it. Let's put it that way.
I agree with you. I saw the same stories. I saw the reactions and stuff, and I heard his comments, and I thought, I was a little bit surprised, but I'm not surprised at his reaction to Spain. I think that this is an ongoing issue. He's been dealing with these NATO issues, since he came into office, and we have yet to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, so he's basically saying to even to the other allies, don't do business with Spain. He's going to suspend trade with Spain. There's rumors he's going to yank the military base out of Spain. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what is Spain up to? Why are they doing this to themselves? I don't know.
Yeah, and that brings up another question. We saw everybody get up in arms when he started imposing tariffs on other countries. They took it to the Supreme Court, and obviously it was a taxation issue. Well, how about, embargoes? Are they going to challenge him on that?
Well, we'll see. But he circled the wagons around Spain, and look, Spain is they're just not nice people. I mean, they wouldn't let us fly over their airspace.
Right.
And so I don't know what the rub is, unless there's something about Spain we don't know. And is there a large Islamic infiltration in Spain like there is into the UK?
You know what? That, I think, is the question of the day, because we're seeing that not only in the UK, but I think this is happening throughout Europe. And of course, Spain is right there. It's I don't know what their what their laws are as far as immigration are concerned, but I think they're subject to it.
What do we get from Spain? What do we import from Spain? Do you know?
Sangria. I don't know.
Okay, we're going to take a medical break. We'll be right back. Okay. We'll be right back.
Visit fishlakeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. 23 minutes past the hour. Yes, Jerry's joining me this morning, live from the Northern Command there at PAM Central. And you're looking good, buddy. A couple of stories in our own backyard. This is kind of interesting. Down in California, in the Marysville area, very familiar with all that down there. But anyway, Governor Newsom, obviously is still trying to think he's going to run for president. What's so interesting about that whole issue, he's still polling below Kamala Harris. Whew.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Boy, you have to work hard at it.
Well, he is.
Well, anyway, he's super liberal and all this and that. And now that the Supreme Court said that states can determine whether or not boys can play in girls' sports, and he's basically telling the Supreme Court to take a hike. We're going to continue to do this. And now parents are going to start leaving schools. And California's really got some problems. Well, in the meantime, Wednesday, the legislature finally passed a bill that he introduced where mascots could no longer be used that were considered offensive, and such is the case there at the Marysville Joint Unified School District. The Marysville High School has to remove its Indian mascot. And this has upset the world down there because it's been there for 100 years and has a deep history and tradition associated with the Indians mascot, acknowledges a strong connection with many alumni, student, staff, and community members. And the Marysville Joint Unified School District superintendent said in a statement that, and it looks like they're going to try to figure a way to push back. Just before the bill went into effect, they were in negotiations with tribal representatives to receive a written consent. Now that the bill is passed, they're wondering whether or not that consent can still be used. So it hasn't occurred.
I wonder because...
But they were right up to getting it, and then the bill passes, and I guess now they're looking at it. If the tribes are going to give the school the consent now, could that be a waiver against this rule?
Well, that's a good point, Perry. We've seen this over and over again, replacing mascot names that the left feels are offensive. We saw it through the collegiate level. The NCAA stepped in. It happened in North Dakota with UND, University of North Dakota, the Fighting Sioux. They made them change their name, and the tribal authorities in that area fought it. They said, no, there's nothing wrong with this. But the NCAA and then the powers that be continued, and they made them change it. So it's like rational heads come into this, but they won't listen to it. Obviously, the agenda continues. You also mentioned Gavin Newsom was talking about the fact that he's going to fight this ruling by the Supreme Court, about boys competing in women's sports. Now, don't forget, this is the governor who's talking out of both sides of his mouth. If you remember when he had a sit down with Charlie Kirk, they had a podcast and they were talking about the fairness issue about, boys competing against girls. And Gavin Newsom himself said it was very unfair. Yet, even though he knows it's unfair, the agenda is more important to him than real fairness. And, it's that old thing about right is wrong and wrong is right. Everything's flipping upside down and continues.
Well, think about this on that ruling of the Supreme Court where it was a 6-3 ruling of boys couldn't compete in girls' sports. Two things came out of that ruling. Number one was, up until the arguments before the Supreme Court, they were using the terms of transgenders participating in girls' sports. And that clearly word got taken off the table. No, we're talking about boys being in girls' sports and got rid of the term transgender, which was a big win as far as word usage is concerned. Then here's the hypocrisy of it. Who were the three dissenting voices of that issue? It was three women.
Yes.
Three women voted for boys to participate in girls' school.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, it's all about the agenda. And who knows what drives that? But you're right. That's a great point.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So anyway, I'm hoping this case actually starts to manifest itself, because if the Marysville Joint Unified School District can finish negotiating with the tribe representative and getting consent, I hope this goes all the way to the courts and they win it.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, now,
and then, of course, the left will try to find a way to, usurp the power of the Supreme Court, and they're still talking about it now. Now they're talking about the Supreme Court needs what was the term? Radical. What was it? Adjustment or whatever. Basically, they're talking about packing the court.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know how you deal with a bully?
How?
You stand up against them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to stand up against these bullies. Okay, so here's another one. Now, Jerry, I know that you are looking for an El Nino to be very productive of a lot of water and snow so that you can defy all gravity and means of aging and get back on skis. But somewhere between the time you get off your medication and you're on some new ones, I think we may have a job for you coming up.
And it is?
It's actually in the mountains. How about that?
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently, Oregon has secured $33.2 million for the first I-5 wildlife overpass.
Oh, wow.
And there is a rendering of it, kind of a architectural rendering of it. It's right up here at the top of the Siskiyous. It's going to be anywhere from 150 to 200 feet wide, maybe wider, connecting federal lands on both sides of the freeway with the Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument Ordinance. That's a whole other can of worms. But in the meantime, it looks like they have secured the money to do this. Both Senator Wyden and Senator Merkley announced the funding for it. And I thought, hey, there's a nice job. Jerry can be the guy like the little animal counter.
So if they build it, will the animals come?
Well, there we go. I just thought we could put you in a tree fort there, and you just count the animals going back and forth.
I don't know. As long as you have a greenway across that needs mowing, I'm in.
Okay, so they're going to put signs up and down the freeway saying, "Not here, dear." You have to go up to the crossover.
Now, you may have mentioned it. Where exactly will this?
It's right at the top of the summit. It's somewhere right at the top. I'm not sure the exact place, but it's right at the top of the Siskiyou Summit on I-5.
I'll be.
This thing's going to go over, and this ought to be kind of interesting to watch. But I thought, you could maybe be a little animal counter up there.
Yeah, we'll see if they come.
And if they do have to mow it, you could mow it up there.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's happening on the satellite scene up there. Severe clear here, folks, but we're backing down a few degrees today, which will be nice, and before it goes back up. So we're in the warm to very warm category. I don't think we're certainly in the very hot category. Just nice summer weather. All right.
Yeah, this is the kind of weather that we hope for. Certainly, we haven't had the triple digits and some of that heat that comes with it.
Yeah.
And, of course, the dangers that come with that as well. So far, do I dare even mention this? Fire season has been kind of small around here.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we were talking about stuff that's going on over in Spain and Europe and all of the things. And of course, anytime we do, we talk about the UK because obviously they're kind of off the rails in many ways. We've been watching Nigel Farage, and we wonder what his future may be.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he had resigned his seat in Parliament, and that they have an election coming up that could decide a lot of things. And we have a spot here, and it'll kind of bring us up to date on that situation.
For some reason last week, the editor of the Times newspaper decided to publish a picture of where my daughter lives. There is no public interest in my daughter whatsoever. She is not involved in current affairs, doesn't seek to be involved in current affairs, and has never been used by me once at any point in my political career. No photographs on election addresses or anything like that. I've always done my absolute best to protect the privacy and safety of my family. By publishing that photograph, the editor of the Times has directly threatened her security. I wonder what happened to the Leveson inquiry of years ago, an inquiry that sought to bring better balance between what the press could do and families of those in public life. Worse still, she now has broadcasters haranguing her. Sky News were one of them, and when I questioned them on it, they willfully and deliberately lied and said on their channel that they hadn't contacted the family. Well, let me be clear. I will not tolerate intimidation of my family. I will not tolerate the location of where they live being revealed. I will not tolerate any of my family being endangered because of what I choose to do in public life. So yes, you can ask, am I angry? But I've never been angrier in my life. I've thought about it hard, and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started.
Whoa.
Okay, so when I saw this story, it's actually 2 days old now, but when I saw this story, I thought, okay, this is the beginning of maybe a revolution in the UK that is long, long past due. Is he the guy? Could be. His resignation, if I understand the parliamentary procedures, does set up what they call a by-election. In other words, it forces the people to get involved. If remember, you have the Prime Minister there has Starmer has resigned, but stayed in office until the election in October. So the problem with that is that he's still controlling things to a certain degree, and he also can have great influence in the election. I think, I don't know for sure, but by Farage stepping back and creating what they call a by-election is going to force an election by the people immediately. And so this will be a big deal. This will be, is he going to be the Trump of Europe? I don't know.
That's a big question. You mentioned the people, and we know that in our country we're kind of we're divided like 40 on the left, 40% on the right, and it's the middle, the independents, which are growing, obviously, that are deciding a lot of the issues in our country right now. Do you know how the split is in England? How does that look?
You know, I don't know the percentages, Jerry, but I do know this because I'm on the phone at least monthly, if not more often, with the UCB organization there in Stoke-on-Trent, which is part of the United Christian Broadcasters, which I still sit on that international board. And there is clearly, and you don't see it in the news, much like you don't see it in the news here in America, but there is clearly a spiritual renewing going on inside the UK, and large masses of people are turning to faith and turning to the Lord and realizing that the UK has turned its back on its founding and on its traditions and on the foundation of what it is, which is a Christian nation, by the way, which gave us birth. So there is something else going on. Now, to answer your question, does that translate into these independents or to the members of Congress? You got to remember one thing, and this is really an odd thing to consider. We are a federal government with 50 states. The UK is a state and a state. There is no 50 states. They're a government and a state. okay? So they don't have all the divisions that we have. And if the people rise up, which Farage is basically saying here is, and the people stand and force what they call a by-election, they could essentially take their country back. And I think the move is there.
Yeah, and we've seen Nigel Farage upset before, but I've never seen him at this level. Have you?
No, and you got to remember he's the reason why they didn't become part of Brexit, and you got to remember that the UK still has the pound and they don't have the euro. Two things in their favor that if they capitalize on it, they could become what they used to be. All right, we're going to take some. What do you got? Green pills or are they
cucumbers, man?
We're going to do a medical exchange. We'll be right back.
Yeah, please.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
All right, welcome back. 20 minutes before the hour. Jerry's with us this morning, and we're glad to have him. He snuck in on the show today, and he's here for today, and then next week he goes to surgery number 2. So he'll go to his happy place for about 3 days.
when I re-emerge, hopefully you'll have me back.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, it depends on, if you got both feet on the ground.
Well, that's debatable.
That's debatable. All right, let's check in with CBN News and get the latest on the Middle East.
This past weekend, as the USA celebrated 250 years of independence on the 4th of July, Iran began the days-long funeral for the Ayatollah Khamenei, who was killed at the beginning of the U.S.-Iran war in February.
President Trump is in Turkey now for a 2-day NATO summit focused on security. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu struck a warning note, however, warning Trump about making deals with the country's openly anti-Semitic leader. Here's the latest on these and other stories.
Saturday, tens of thousands gathered to mourn Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and carried signs to kill Trump and chanted death to Israel and death to America. Khamenei, who headed the Islamic regime since 1989, was killed in a joint U.S.-Israeli airstrike in the opening volley of the war. Today begins a funeral procession transporting Khamenei's body to cities in Iran and neighboring Iraq. On the sidelines, Iran's foreign minister met separately with leaders of its terrorist proxies, including Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. He told the Hamas leader that Tehran will continue to support the Palestinians until the establishment of a Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told Fox News that America and Israel are each other's greatest allies, and there is no rift between him and President Trump.
President Trump is the leader of the United States. He does what's good for America. I am the leader of Israel, the one and only Jewish state. I do what's good for Israel. 99% of the time, we see eye to eye. But in any family, in any close friendship, there are sometimes differences of opinion.
President Trump told Axios that he and Netanyahu get along very good and that the Israeli leader knows who the boss is. He also confirmed he would meet soon with Netanyahu. Netanyahu responded that Israel and the U.S. have a shared goal of denying Iran a nuclear weapon.
We want to see Iran give up its nuclear weapons program. We want to see the nuclear enriched material removed. We want to see the enrichment sites for nuclear material dismantled.
Tonight, President Trump heads to Turkey for a NATO summit. In recent days, Turkish officials made inflammatory comments following Israel's recognition of the Armenian genocide committed by the Ottoman Empire between 1915 and 1923. Turkey's foreign minister saying the people of Israel have become a burden that humanity can no longer bear. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar called it a clear incitement to genocide. Two explosions rocked Damascus Tuesday as French President Emmanuel Macron met with his Syrian counterpart in a landmark visit. Reports say the blasts were caused by explosive devices near the Four Seasons Hotel where Macron is staying. His office reports he is safe and the visit is continuing. Earlier, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fired missiles at two commercial vessels near the Strait of Hormuz, despite U.S.-Iranian talks. The attack comes during the six-day funeral of Iran's former supreme leader. Despite the large turnout, polls say only a minority of Iranians support the regime.
Iran is a nation of about 90 million. About 80% of them hate this regime and would like to see it gone. But you still have, quite a few million, a minority that they can bring to the streets.
President Trump is in Ankara today for a two-day summit of NATO leaders. He's seeking more support from NATO countries who didn't want to allow the U.S. forces to use their bases for attacks on Iran. He's also planning to meet with Turkey's President Erdogan on the sidelines of the conference. In an interview with Fox News Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned the president against making deals with Erdogan.
Turkey is a great country, but it's governed by a man who calls openly for the annihilation of Israel. He occupies half of Cyprus, a NATO country. He's threatening Greece, another NATO country, and he talks openly about conquering Jerusalem.
He also said Turkey is infected by the Muslim Brotherhood that hates America and finances terror groups like Hamas.
I don't think they should be given F-35s or the engines for their fighter jets, because that'll upset the power balance in the Middle East, which is ultimately guaranteed by Israeli air superiority and also by, I think, by America's posture in the Middle East.
Following the NATO summit, Netanyahu is expected to meet with Trump at the White House, possibly as early as next week. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Yes, time for a look back at something that a lot of us grew up with. It is one of the most inventive toys ever created and came to market on this day in history.
On July 8, 1913, the patent was issued for one of the most beloved construction toys ever created, the erector set. Inventor Alfred Carlton Gilbert was inspired by the steel skeletons of bridges and skyscrapers that were transforming America's cities. His idea was simple. Let kids build the same way real engineers did, using tiny metal beams, nuts, bolts, gears, and wheels. And here are some fun facts. Gilbert wasn't just an inventor. He was also an Olympic gold medalist pole vaulter at the 1908 London Olympics, a trained physician, and a professional magician before becoming a toy maker. And although exact numbers aren't available, it's been estimated that more than 50 million erector sets were sold. For generations of young builders, the erector set wasn't just a toy, it was the beginning of a lifelong fascination with engineering, invention, and imagination.
Did you have an erector set?
Yes, I did. They were fun.
Yeah,
and then
loved it.
They're kind of like Legos. You know, you bought one and then you got another one, and then you got another one. You got,
right.
You know.
Also kind of like Legos, and they're no fun to step on. You know, those little screws and stuff. But you know what we used to do, Perry, is we used to build elevators and stuff with it because it had a little motor on it.
Yeah, right.
And then a lot of us also grew up with little army men.
Yes.
And then we would use the army men, and we'd have battles around the erector set. I don't think that's done anymore.
Well, you know, we actually played with cardboard boxes. It was fun.
Well, you know, I've seen that with my grandkids. Some of the best gifts I ever gave my grandkids were the boxes that their gifts came in.
There you go. All right, National Security Advisor, well, an analysis. What's going on with the talks in Turkey and NATO? Let's check in and find out.
We've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others. You would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. And I've long said that we helped them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And that's okay. But, you know, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Well, two things here. One, a lot of NATO partners made very weak statements during the combat phase of Operation Epic Fury, and that still really grinds on President Trump. The other thing is there's a backdrop here of the EU antagonism towards U.S. businesses. A lot of our big tech companies, they're trying to write laws that would keep our space companies out of their constellation. So that's a kind of constant background disruption. That said, I think President Trump's presence in Ankara is there to show that NATO can be and needs to be strong. Russia is a huge threat. The European allies are scared to death. They need to up production of Patriots. They need to put an armored brigade combat team in Poland, a U.S. one on a permanent basis. There's a lot to do. So I think he's going to chide them for sure, but then look to move forward.
Well, I cannot believe the fortitude of the president sitting there in front of everybody in NATO, naming them like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen anything like that before, you know, and he has every right to gripe about it. Yeah.
Absolutely, and he's not shy about it. He will.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take a break, and Jerry will take a pain pill, and we'll be right back.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
There may have never been another time in history when end times prophecy has been more aligned with the culture and circumstances of the world than it is today. I believe there are 10 phenomena we are witnessing today that were recorded centuries ago in Bible prophecy.
Join Dr. David Jeremiah in his series, Where Do We Go From Here? On the next episode of Turning Point, right here on this station.
Weekends on the Dove TV. Real Life with Jack Hibbs, now on the Dove TV every weekend. Direct from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, Jack challenges today's generation to understand and practice the biblical worldview, verse by verse, addressing key cultural and daily life issues. Deepen your walk with Christ to make an effective impact on your world. Don't miss Real Life with Jack Hibbs, Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Okay, welcome back. 8 minutes before the hour. One of the things that's going on, Jerry, I don't know if you're paying attention to it, but it's a preliminary trial of the Charlie Kirk assassination. This has been fascinating to watch because this is a pre-trial before the trial. This is where they introduce the evidence before to build the case that they have enough evidence to do the trial. And that seems to be going on pretty well. Retired FBI special agent comments on Chris Bagley. Apparently, he's a former Utah Valley University police officer in his testimony in yesterday's preliminary trial.
He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired. Everybody started getting up and starting to run in more of a chaos kind of situation. I proceeded to, right where the Fugle and the hall flags meet, there's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people were running up, people were laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
Yeah, really tough for the family. Obviously, victims of crimes, especially one as heinous as this one that was blasted all over television screens around the country and around the world. Really tough for the Kirk family. And look, the evidence that was laid out there was just establishing all the confusion that took place in the immediate aftermath. They didn't know where the shot came from, and that's, as a former FBI and Army sniper, that's a real thing. You know, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, was about 150 yards away on top of the Losi Center, and when that shot rang out, no one knew where it came from. So the officer was basically just describing the confusion and why people did not know where to look to see where the shooter was. The top charge in this case is aggravated murder, and the aggravated part just means that there was a level of severity or heinousness or depravity or cruelty attached to the murder itself. And in this instance, the defense could have waived it. Now, I'm speculating here. I've seen a lot of these, sat through a lot of preliminary hearings with the government side. I can only imagine that since this defense team specializes in capital murder cases, that they want to walk through this process A to B to C to D and not miss a beat here, because this case does have major implications with the death penalty.
And apparently the judge says the death penalty could be considered. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, you know, this is tough because it just brings up all the emotions and that we all went through when this occurred, and now it just seems like we're kind of reliving it again. But this is necessary, so we'll continue to follow it, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. Got some great guests coming up, so stick around for a good hour coming up next. But what have we got there?
Okay, well, we know that heroes come in all sizes, and here is another example of that.
An 11-year-old Kentucky boy is being called a hero after diving into action to save a drowning man. Avery Woolery spotted the man unconscious at the bottom of an apartment swimming pool. As others stood frozen, Avery grabbed his goggles, dove underwater, and pulled the man to the surface. Once on the pool deck, the man's friend began CPR while someone else called 911. Firefighters say the man was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Avery's father says he's incredibly proud of his son, adding that someone thanked him for teaching the boy how to swim. Thanks to one courageous 11-year-old who refused to hesitate, a stranger was given a second chance.
Wow.
And you know, courage can show itself at a very young age, and boy, it sure did there.
Look how small he was.
Yeah.
I mean, grabbing somebody.
Yeah, no kidding.
Up.
You know,
wow.
I was about that age. I had to be rescued. A guy pulled me out of a lake as I was going down. I was like, oh no.
Really?
So I'm glad that somebody's willing to do such heroics.
Okay, well now you got Pam in your life.
Yes.
All right, take with you Hebrews 11, chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. That's the definition of faith. All right, stick around. Beautiful morning. A lot more to talk about when we come back.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
In today's world, we've become too used to hearing bad news. Why not help share a little good news instead? With custom-designed messages in both English and Spanish, manufactured right here in the USA. Wearing apparel from Good News Products is a small but mighty way to help lift the spirits of friends, family, coworkers, and more. Visit goodnewsproductsusa.com today. Use the QR code and take 15% off your first order. Good News Products, because everybody loves good news.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Santa Rosa and the wine country. Seen on KUKR 27 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
I don't know what's going on. I think our control room's taking your medication. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove on a beautiful Wednesday morning. Look who I found walking around in his own, lawn.
Yeah. Well, I might not be doing much walking around, but boy, I can roll around that.
I noticed that. Jerry's Bilden is with us this morning. He's joining the show. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Excellent. It's good to be here. A little bit of recovery goes a long way, and I'm feeling the effects of a lot of prayers from a lot of great folks out there, getting great encouragement from the cards that you're sending in, and very appreciative. I'm glad to be sitting here, and so is Pam, because the more I sit here, the less she has to do for me.
That's good. Well, there you are, broadcasting live from the Northern Command, better known as Pam Central. Yeah. Anyway, good morning, Jerry. Good to see you, buddy. People have been praying for you. I know we got more ahead of you. I just wanted to say to our viewers and listeners, he was here yesterday. You were between doctor's appointments, and I said, could we possibly video you in tomorrow. That would have been today, because you head out for surgery number 2 possibly next week, and so here you are. People don't realize you've really gone through something with your broken leg. It's over a year now, and you're still dealing with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, one of the things that you worry about in such situations are infections, and of course, I got mine.
Yeah,
and when you have a lot of hardware screwed into bones and stuff, and then it breaks, and then the bacteria takes off, that set in. I think one of the surprising parts about this, Perry, was the what it takes to get rid of infections and the mega doses of antibiotics and how your body reacts to that. So hopefully we continue to heal, and we'll keep taking the medicine.
So were your pills about that size?
Yeah. I know what that light means.
Yeah, but weren't your pills about that size? Your antibiotic pills about the size of that?
Yeah, twice a day.
Wow. Well, good to see you. Thanks for sneaking in this morning. It's just wonderful. A lot going on in the news. We'll have that for you. The weather, well, interesting. Going to be a little cooler today, actually, so we'll enjoy that. The president's at NATO and shaking things up, and the ceasefire's off in Iran. Wow, a lot going on. So anything special today, buddy?
Yeah, first of all, this is interesting. It's called National Scud Day. I would call it National Anti-Crud Day, because it's an invitation to step away from stressful conflicts, toxic gossip, and overwhelming news feeds, and replace them with pure, lighthearted fun and silliness. And, you know, we can try and add a little bit of that too, but, you know, there's a lot of that other stuff going around, and I think that especially in the day and age in which we live, where instant access on our devices, obviously a lot of that, it's an open door for a lot of that toxic content and some of the things that stir up our emotions. So if we can move away from that, today's the day to do it.
All right, step back from it. You really don't need it.
Next.
Yeah,
we got a few. It's summertime. The heat is up. We have a few cool things to treat on. First of all, National Freezer Pop Day. Whatever flavor you like, enjoy. Also, National Cucumber Salad Day. You like cucumber salad?
Yeah, it has a lot to how it's prepared. Now, you can get a cucumber salad like at a sushi restaurant, and they're really good.
Yeah.
And they have, I don't know what they do. They have a little onion in it with and everything else like that. It can be good. Yeah, it's very refreshing in the summertime.
Yep, like a vinegar base to it. Really good stuff. And of course, you know, a lot of people have cucumbers growing in their gardens and such. Do you?
Nope. We got flowers.
Either.
We got flowers.
Yeah, we got some flowers too. Not much in the way of vegetables, but you know, we know where we can get it. Also, National Raspberry Day. That's a great summer fruit, and is high in antioxidants, and of course the vitamins that come with it. That's always a good thing. And then one last thing that is non-edible, and I don't know how much of this we want to enjoy, but it is National Video Game Day. It seems this is a huge business. The video game industry is one of the most profitable sectors in the global economy. The market is projected to exceed $3 billion this year, and gaming revenue is more than 3 times that. Music, almost 4 times the movie industry. And of course, some of the big names in global video market is Sony Interactive Entertainment, Microsoft Gaming, and Nintendo. Of course, business, because the global audience for video gaming is just under 3 billion gamers worldwide. So what say you? Are you a gamer?
No, I'm not. I've tried to help people to recover from this. It is an addiction. We need to get Doug on there, talk about this, but it is a huge addiction. And it's amazing who plays. It really is. I mean, you can spend a lot of money buying these supercomputers and getting involved in this stuff. You know?
Absolutely. And of course, these games come in a lot of different forms, but a lot of them have interactivity with other gamers in other places. And you can kind of create a mask or another identity, can't you?
Yeah.
And we've seen that with grandma gamers.
Well, you did that story a couple of months ago. Grandma walked in, she had her own room. You know, mostly grandmas have quilting going on in their room, but this grandma had she had a wall full of screens, and she sat down in this chair like a captain's chair, put her headset on, and away she went.
Yeah, and again, too, I'm not a gamer. I don't have those big supercomputers to do it. But some of the gaming available is available on such things as phones and iPads.
Yeah.
And I've been a little bit laid up lately. I don't know. You probably noticed. And I have one little game that I play occasionally. It's a golf game. And it's worldwide. And I mean, I'm telling you, there are thousands of golfers worldwide. And as you golf, now I'm a horrible golfer in real life, but I'm like Rory McIlroy on this game. I mean, I can really do it.
Really?
But you get into these conversations with golfers other places around the world, and generally most people are pretty nice, but there are some folks out there kind of, they want to get into it, and they want to throw politics into such a, an entertainment as
into a game?
golf.
Into a game?
In the game. They want to start talking about golf, and some people come in with some interesting handles, their gamer identity, and you look at who you're going to play and you think, I don't know if I want to get into this. But the nice thing is that if you want, because they start chatting with you.
Yeah.
And people, they want to talk smack sometimes. But the nice thing is you can turn off the conversation mode.
Yeah.
Just turn it off.
Just turn it off.
And then you just play.
Okay. Well, okay, so it's gaming day. Well, that's an industry. It's a big one.
But, did you realize how huge it is?
No,
4 times the movie industry?
Those numbers are beyond my ability to comprehend, And,
if you can invent a game, it's a great ROI.
Yeah. You just got to get one that everybody likes.
Man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:30 past the hour. Here's Jerry's twin brother doing the weather here.
Here's a look at Tuesday's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, gradual clearing brings highs in the upper 70s for Vancouver and Portland, while Wilsonville and McMinnville turn mostly sunny with afternoon temperatures in the low 80s. Through the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny conditions continue with highs around 82 to 83 degrees in Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene. Central Oregon starts with improving conditions as Prineville and Bend become sunny with highs in the mid to upper 80s, while Sun River stays sunny near 83. Boise turns much hotter with patchy smoke and a high near 98 before cooling into the lower 60s tonight. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay, Brookings, and Crescent City begin with patchy fog before turning sunny, with highs ranging from the upper 50s to upper 60s. Port Orford sees decreasing clouds and reaches the mid-60s. Across southern Oregon, sunshine dominates with highs in the upper 80s for Grants Pass, Ashland, and Klamath Falls, while Medford reaches 90. Overnight temperatures fall back into the 50s. Northern California stays mostly dry with sunny skies in Wairika near 92 and Chico in the mid-90s. Redding turns hot with a high of 99, while Fort Bragg sees decreasing clouds and a much cooler high near 58 before lows return to the 50s tonight. Around the Bay Area, fog gives way to sunshine in Santa Rosa near 82, while Napa clears after patchy fog and reaches 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds with a high of 66, and San Jose becomes sunny near 79. Across Central California, sunny conditions continue with highs near 90 in Sacramento, and Stockton Modesto climbing into the mid to upper 90s from Fresno Visalia to Bakersfield. That's a snapshot of today's weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a picture of our valley this morning. As you can see, it's very, very dry out there, and a little bit of a haze to the day, not much, but a little cooler too, so we'll enjoy that. All right, good stuff. Good stuff.
Hey, that's nice to see. I don't get out there much anymore, but it's nice to take a look at the valley.
That's good.
But, one of the things that we're guaranteed in this life, Perry, are our fair share, and sometimes it seems like more than our fair share of trials.
Mm-hmm.
But here is a message and encouragement that may seem counterintuitive, and it comes from Pastor Greg Laurie.
You know, one of my favorite stories from the Bible is the story of the feeding of the 5,000. By the way, it's the only time when Jesus asked someone for advice. So all these people were following Jesus, and his crowd swelled to a multitude. And they were hungry. You could probably hear their stomachs growling. And Jesus turns to Philip and says, how shall we feed all of these people? And actually, we're told in Scripture, in John's Gospel, this was a test, for he knew what he was going to do. Philip looked around at all those people and said, wow, it would take months of hard work to get enough money to buy food to feed all these people. And so he missed the opportunity. He was being tested. And you know, God tests us as well. Why do we go through times of testing? Well, according to James, times of testing come so we can grow up spiritually and become stronger in your faith. James writes in the Phillips translation, when trials and difficulties come into our life, we should treat them not as intruders, but as friends, because they come to make us stronger. And the testing of your faith produces endurance. Trials are like God's gym. When you go to a gym, you break muscle down in order to build it up. And the more you work at it, the stronger you become. In the same way, God allows testing in your life so you will get stronger spiritually. So if you're facing a time of testing, remember this, trials and tests don't last forever. There's usually a beginning, middle, and end. But learn what God is trying to teach you. Don't treat it as an intruder, but as a friend, so you can become stronger spiritually.
Well, there you go. Good stuff. All right, good morning to you. 13 past the hour. Jerry's with me this morning. Let's check out some of the top stories of today. And as you know, maybe by now, that the ceasefire is off in Iran. And the president has resumed military action, primarily because Iran was shooting at civilian tankers going through the straits. And so that got things pretty uptight. In the meantime, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is basically saying, look, we're trying to make a deal with an organization and a mindset that is totally untrustworthy. And he's just basically saying, don't trust them, don't make a deal. And here's what he had to say.
No, of course you can't trust them. And therefore, I don't know if there will be a deal or no deal. I've pledged, as President Trump has pledged, that Iran under no circumstances would have nuclear weapons. And I stand by that. Now, what do you do when you make a deal with someone you don't trust? You make sure that you have 100 ways to verify compliance with the deal. That is, if you have a deal at all. So I think it's too early to say, but I personally would not trust Iran the length of this room, which is about 3 meters long. So no, they're totally untrustworthy.
Well, okay, so now that's spilled over because in the last several hours, Iran has hit some commercial ships there in the Straits with some drones, and that was enough for the president to say, all right, ceasefire is over. And he's now firing at I think about 80 places last night, and they're saying, or the president's saying, more tonight will be given to Iran in military action. And he said it's over. The talks will no longer, I guess they'll continue the talks, but he's not counting on the talks. And then about, half hour, an hour ago, the president basically said it's so far over that he's calling Iran's leadership there scum. So that's a break in words and action.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Are we surprised at the untrustworthiness of the leadership in Iran?
No, but I tell you what, I think the president may have accomplished through all of this. He has completely eliminated all criticism of trying diplomacy.
That's a good point, yeah.
So now the only thing left is to finish the job. And look, we're not pro-war. We're not warmongers here. Innocent people die in war. But you're dealing with a regime that has one thing in mind, either killing you. I mean, that's it. They want Israel wiped out and America dead. And and you can go back and quote the rhetoric back and forth, but I think the president now realizes, look, Iran did win the delay war. There's no question about it. But the president now has also won the tri-war of diplomacy, and that didn't go anywhere, so it's now time to finish the job. So I guess everything's off the table, and let's get the job done, and we'll see what plays out over the next couple of days or so. Just
quick question for you. They had the funeral for the old Ayatollah not long ago, and the new Ayatollah reared his head up. Were you surprised to see him?
Yes, I was, because he's been sequestered, so to speak, for quite some time. So they did the former supreme leader, Ayatollah, who was killed on the first day of the war. His funeral was Saturday, July 4th, and then they do a week of mourning. And that's what's going on. And some commentators said that the week of mourning has hardened the regime even harder. So to talk to them rationally is clearly off the table. And then here comes the Supreme Leader number 2 finally coming out of the closet, so to speak. I don't know if this means anything. I don't know what it means. I mean, according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, 20% of the people in Iran are for the regime, 80% would like to see it gone. So,
yeah, were you surprised to see the crowds?
Yes. But I will say this. How many people were forced to be there with the threat that if they didn't show up, they'd be killed?
Good point.
We don't know that, but that's how that regime operates,
Yeah.
So they go to house and say, you will get out on the streets and you will do this and you will carry this sign, so to speak, or this flag. Besides, it's the old Iran flag. It's not the original. It's the current Iran flag. It's not the original Iran flag.
All right.
It's missing the lion there. So I mean, this whole thing is.
One more question. One more quick question. I haven't bought fuel lately. How is this affecting fuel prices?
It's going to go up. We're going to go back to escalating fuel, only because the primary attack of the problem right now is the control of the straits. And what's interesting about it, we're talking about international waters here, and yet Iran has been controlling the activity and firing upon, tankers. Commercial tankers. Yeah. I mean, so all of a sudden, you got to realize these commercial tankers don't want to go out there and get shot and sunk. And Lords of London aren't going to insure them anymore if they do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's
what? Not only that, but if you're going to get insurance, what kind of rates are you going to get these days?
I can't even imagine it.
Oh.
So do you self-insure while you're in the Straits? Is that what you do? I mean, some people are thinking about that. The oil industry is in such demand. Do you self-insure during the Straits, and then once you're outside the Straits, your insurance kicks in order to stay in business? You talk about risk.
Who knows? And is there any way that any of these commercial vehicles can be equipped to defend themselves?
Well, I think there's a certain amount of that because of pirating, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah.
I know they use water hoses. I know they use water hoses.
How about 50 caliber?
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, wouldn't you shoot a drone coming at you?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are the top stories. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Right there.
Dark the night is, keep hope and keep on shining, and they'll see his light burning in your heart. And if the road
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your watchful eye on the nation's capital. Every weeknight, covering current events, issues of faith, family, and freedom from a conservative Christian perspective.
Washington Watch, thanks so much for joining us.
Bringing you up close to newsmakers, members of Congress, and prominent pro-family leaders from across the nation.
That's just the tip of the iceberg of the threats and the dangers that children are facing online.
Tony is the president of the Family Research Council, a former state legislature, ordained minister, police officer, and veteran of the Marine Corps.
Terrorism experts are sounding the alarm.
And welcome to the Washington Watch News Desk.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your leading source for what's really happening in our nation's capital.
Well, this is a state issue. The federal government shouldn't be forcing these states.
Don't miss Washington Watch with Tony Perkins. Weeknights at 6 only on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Now on the Dove TV every weekend. Direct from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, Jack challenges today's generation to understand and practice a biblical worldview, verse by verse, addressing key cultural and daily life issues. Deepen your walk with Christ to make an effective impact on your world. Don't miss Real Life with Jack Hibbs, Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Okay, welcome back. Jerry's with us today. Yes, we're delighted that he's here. He's in between issues. Procedures. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Doing well.
Good to be here.
I know that I can't even imagine. I told Peggy, I said he's 17 in his brain. But
yeah,
you know,
the numbers are all mixed up, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, that's medication, and this is one happy camper we're talking to here today.
Yeah. How many fingers do you have up?
12. All right. Good morning to you. A lot going on. Let me give you an interesting story. This is down in the Central Valley there in Marysville, California. Well, as you know, Governor Gavin Newsom is an amazing guy. He wants to be president of the United States. The last poll shows him just below Kamala Harris in polling, which is, he's got a problem. It's called California.
That's a problem.
Yeah. But in the meantime, the liberals, being who they are, they passed a bill that they had to do away with mascots that were offensive, and that directly impacted the Marysville High School there in Marysville, California. And apparently this bill finally got through the legislature this past week, and the Joint Unified School District there in Marysville recognized the deep history and the tradition associated with the Indian mascot of the Marysville High School. We're talking 100 years here of the alumni, the students, the staff, and the community itself that has, you know, been used to this. And then they passed this piece of legislation. Well, in the middle of all of this, apparently Marysville High School and the school board was negotiating a consent letter or written consent from the tribe that would be impacted by this in their area. And apparently the tribe was about ready to give the written consent, and then the bill passed. And so the question is, if the tribe follows through with the consent of using the term Indians for the Marysville High School, could that override the bill, or is this going to go to court?
You know, I think they ignore these voices. We saw this before through the NCAA.
Yeah.
Of course, they went through the collegiate level, correcting those names. And one that comes to mind, and I've mentioned this before, is UND, the University of North Dakota. They were the Fighting Sioux. And the NCAA decided that was offensive, and they made them change it, even though tribal leaders in the area said, no, there's nothing wrong with this. They encouraged them to leave their, take their hands off of this issue, but they would not. Of course, we've seen it in the NFL as well with the Washington Redskins, and they've been fighting this for years. They've been trying. trying to get this corrected. We see it in baseball. Cleveland used to be the Indians, and now they're the Guardians. And so this wokeness, continues down the line. And I just ask you this, as we root for our favorite teams, do any of us think that, the Washington Redskins, we root for them, we honor them. And in fact, that name came to honor a particular chief that was associated with the Redskins way back in the day. So there seems to be no rhyme or reason to this, and it doesn't matter what tribal leaders seem to think about it.
Well, we need to fight this, and it's the same thing of fighting and getting the monuments back. This is just crazy. One ideology in this country has taken all these traditions and turned it on its ear. And if you can get consent from these tribes that would otherwise be offended by this, then what's the problem? There is no problem.
Right. Exactly.
And the Redskins, don't they still do the tomahawk?
Oh yeah, that's highly offensive. And they even do that in Atlanta, with the Braves.
The Braves,
and that's not a name that they need to, but boy, they do like to do the tomahawk chop.
Yeah.
And I have one more question for you. My heritage is Norwegian. I'm 100% Norwegian, and we go all the way back to the Vikings. Should I write a letter to Governor Walz and ask them and tell him I'm offended at the Minnesota Vikings football team? Because that name just really, there's nothing wrong with it. It bothers me. I mean, where does this stop?
See, I don't know, but there is a motive behind this, and that's to erase anything, not only traditional, but anything that has to be historic, so you can lay the groundwork for a new something, a new crazy, maybe a new constitution. Who knows? But if the tribes are willing to issue a letter of consent, to me, the argument is mute. So we'll see what happens. I hope the people in Marysville show their little country fortitude and fight it. So
exactly. Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, Jerry, I found a job for you, since you probably won't go back to skiing anytime soon, but you could become an animal counter.
Okay.
They apparently got the finishing money to finish the I-5 wildlife overpass. What you see here is a rendering of what is going to be built at the top of the Siskiyou Summit, connecting the federal lands on both sides of I-5. This thing is supposed to be anywhere from 150 to 200 feet wide, or perhaps wider in some areas, connecting federal lands on both sides of the freeway in the Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument area. And apparently they did secure an additional $33.2 million coming to the Department of Transportation for the construction of the first wildlife overpass on Interstate 5 right next to the Oregon border. So I thought we could build you a little tree house, and you could sit up there and count the animals going by. And when need be, when the grass gets too high and dry, you mow it, okay? Take your zero turn out there and get that under.
Hey, man. I'm ready for that, but I only have one question. If they build it, will they come?
Well, see, that's kind of interesting. You're going to have to put a little signs up and down the freeway that says, not here, dear.
Yeah.
And then and pointing them to the overpass,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess once it's open, and then, you can bait them across, I guess, you could do that. But by the way, and the $3.8 million matching funds going to be put in by ODOT, $37 million for the overpass. So this is going to be an expensive project.
Yeah. So does that mean another attempt at a tax increase from the governor?
Who knows? So what do you do when it snows?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question.
What's the snow load going to be on that thing?
That is a great question. Yeah, who knows? And it's going to be interesting to see how they build something like that. Does this disrupt traffic? It's going to be an interesting process to watch.
Well, I remember when Peggy and I were first married, I was a pilot, and we had a job down, where was this? El Toro? El Cajon down there somewhere. Anyway, I was flying down there. And the company I flew for built freeways, and they ran into the turtle migration problem, where the turtles would come and have to cross the road to go lay their eggs. And it shut the job down, literally shut the job down. So they built an overpass so that the cars went over so that the turtles could migrate underneath.
Oh, how did that work?
Well, it worked.
Yeah. All
you know,
right.
but this is a long time tradition. But and they go up there and they lay their eggs, and then of course then all the babies would come, and then there's all this big turtle migration back to the water. But I don't know. The other question is, could they go underneath at Siskiyou?
Yeah.
Probably not. You know, so.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to have one of the first right here in our own backyard, so that's kind of cool to watch. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for this. Here it is, a Wednesday morning, and thank you, Preston, for bringing this to us. So there was Smart Lawn. He's a smart guy doing a smart job. The Dow's not happy today, and I think it's a lot of the saber rattling over in the Middle East. The Dow's off this morning, down 530 points. The Nas dumped 55 and a third, and it looks like the S&P, which drives everything down, a little over 40 points this morning. So the activities in the Straits of Hormuz pushing things into the red category. Gold has lost a few pennies, 4,082. Silver's down to 58.90, and crude oil back up $2, $77.75 a barrel. There you go.
All right. Well, you know, all eyes are on what is going on over in the summit that the president is attending, and especially the relationship with Spain. We're seeing some of the situation in Europe as we think that obviously a lot of it's going the wrong way, especially in the United Kingdom. We have been watching Nigel Farage, and he seems to be quite upset at the situation that has evolved there and has resigned his parliament seat, and he's made a few statements on it. Let's listen to what Nigel Farage has to say.
For some reason last week, the editor of the Times newspaper decided to publish a picture of where my daughter lives. There is no public interest in my daughter whatsoever. She is not involved in current affairs, doesn't seek to be involved in current affairs, and has never been used by me once at any point in my political career. No photographs on election addresses or anything like that. I've always done my absolute best to protect the privacy and safety of my family. By publishing that photograph, the editor of the Times has directly threatened her security. I wonder what happened to the Leveson inquiry of years ago, an inquiry that sought to bring better balance between what the press could do and families of those in public life. Worse still, she now has broadcasters haranguing her. Sky News were one of them, and when I questioned them on it, they willfully and deliberately lied and said on their channel that they hadn't contacted the family. Well, let me be clear. I will not tolerate intimidation of my family. I will not tolerate the location of where they live being revealed. I will not tolerate any of my family being endangered because of what I choose to do in public life. So yes, you can ask, am I angry? Well, I've never been angrier in my life. I've thought about it hard, and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started.
It takes people with that kind of conviction and fortitude to bring about change, and it just shows you the press has no limits.
Right.
You know.
Let me ask you, what do you think his future is?
Well, you know, he's been floated as a potential prime minister candidate. With Starmer basically resigning but still staying there until October, that creates a little bit of a problem. Now, this by-election, I'm not sure how all this worked, but from what I understand so far, it could force a people's election immediately. Now, could he get reelected to his seat? Okay, and maybe that's what this is all about. He resigns out of protest, but then they re-elect him back, which clearly sets him up for prime minister. or does this force an overall public seat? I don't know. You got to remember one thing. It was explained to me. You come to the United States, you have the federal government, then you have 50 states. In the UK, you have a state and a state. Now you have these jurisdictions out there where they elect, members of parliament according to the population, kind of like we do during the census growth. But the point being is, they don't have 50 states. They got one. And parliamentary law works different than the way we do it over here. And I think what he is doing here is forcing the people to stand up against the nonsense of politics and do something. And unfortunately, his family's been drugged into this. And that's a line that was crossed. What business does the Time have publishing the picture of his daughter's house? Can you tell me what that is all about?
Well, but aren't we seeing the same thing happen here? We've seen the president's family in the spotlight, and certainly, we talk about law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We see ICE, the law enforcement agency that feel like they have to cover their faces because they get doxxed.
Yeah.
And they publish all of this, and then protesters and bad actors go after them. And so this isn't just England. We're seeing this here as well.
Oh, it is. And remember, they went after our Supreme Court justice's personal residence.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Look, I don't know. He's ticked off. He has every right to be. He's going to use the system to see if he can bring about the change, and I hope he does. I really do.
Yep.
All right, 23 minutes before the hour. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. Our VAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
Do you realize how much our radical secular culture has influenced how you live and think? For example, our secular culture is trying to redefine or rid us of even believing in God.
Secularism is blocking the light of God. When darkness comes, there is chaos, there is violence, there are all of these things that are happening.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
All right, welcome back. And of course, a lot going on in the Middle East. As you know, the president is there in NATO, which is in Turkey, meeting. In the meantime, well, the ceasefire is over. And we'll check in with CBN News and Julie Stahl for the latest on that.
Speaking with reporters at the NATO summit in Turkey, President Trump said he can't trust the Iranians to negotiate.
To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people.
He said negotiators Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner want to continue, but he'll make the final decision.
As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. liars.
The U.S. carried out strikes on Iranian military targets after attacks on 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. called it a clear violation of the ceasefire. American forces hit more than 80 Iranian targets, including air defenses, radar sites, and dozens of Revolutionary Guard boats, to limit attacks on international shipping in the Strait. Iranian state media reported explosions near Qeshm Island and in the southern port cities of Bandar Abbas and Sirik. Washington also revoked the sanctions waiver that authorized Iran to sell crude oil on international markets, warning the memorandum in effect with Iran is entirely performance-based. Iran will only reap benefits if they exhibit good behavior. The Islamic Republic threatened a crushing response and has retaliated with missile fire targeting U.S. military assets in Bahrain and Kuwait. Iran's parliament speaker wrote on X, "The era of bullying and extortion is over. It leads nowhere. We don't fold." As tensions rise with Iran, President Trump met with Turkey's President Erdogan at the NATO summit in Ankara, highlighting what he calls their strong personal relationship.
Sometimes you get along with the toughest people, like him, and sometimes you don't get along with the weakest, most pathetic people.
President Trump signaled he is leaning towards approving fighter jet sales to Ankara.
Something certainly we consider.
Israel quickly pushed back. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in an interview on CNN that he spoke several times with President Trump before the NATO summit, urging him to keep Turkey out of the F-35 program.
Notwithstanding the personal friendship that President Trump has with Erdogan, it doesn't make Turkey a friendly or a friendly state to the United States.
He also accused Turkey of being infected with the Muslim Brotherhood and a threat to Israel and Europe. Greece is also raising concerns, warning an F-35 sale to Turkey could upset the military balance in the Aegean. Athens is pressing ahead with its biggest defense modernization in decades, preparing to acquire the Israeli-backed Achilles Shield air defense network. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Lots more to talk about, and our Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us right now in studio. So, Chris, President Trump, as we heard, did not mince words when talking about the leaders of Iran. How will these strikes and his statements about Iran be received now in Israel?
Well, I think in Israel they're going to welcome them because I think they felt like the ending of the war was premature, and they would like to see to finish the job and make sure that Iran doesn't pose. I think people in Israel really didn't think the memorandum of understanding was going to work. They didn't believe that Iran would keep its word, that it was going to use it just as a temporary pause. They call that a hudna in Islam, where they could rebuild, regroup, and then, fight at another time. So I think here in Israel, they're going to see this as a welcome news. Not that they want war, but they want to make sure that Iran no longer poses a threat to not only the Jewish state, but the region and its allies in the UAE and Bahrain, Kuwait. We see that Iran is already attacking them after what happened yesterday.
They may not want war, but will Israel be involved in the strikes on Iran?
Well, that's a good question. We know that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was due to be in Israel today, but he apparently has canceled his trip. It remains to be seen. It seems like right now there's a tense relationship between President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and President Trump says that he convinced President Erdogan not to join the war and attack Israel in the fight against Iran. So it remains to be seen. Perhaps President Trump doesn't want Israel involved right now, but we'll see.
Hearing a lot of war words. Is there the thought that is there hope now in Israel that President Trump will finish the job?
There is that hope. They wanted to do that. They were disappointed, I think, when the ceasefire began. And as I said, that they didn't trust Iran to keep its word, and that it really hadn't changed. The ideology hadn't changed at all. The agenda to eliminate Israel, to be a hegemony there in the region, that didn't change. So they want to finish the job. There was actually one airstrike that was called off by President Trump just as the ceasefire was going into effect. They believe that they would like
be able to contribute and finish the job. They have been studying Iranian nuclear sites, ballistic missile sites, air defense sites for years, and they have probably their target bank right now to go ahead and really put a dent in Iran's ability to regroup.
Ah, yes, time for a look back today at one of the most inventive toys ever, one that many of us grew up playing with and became official on this date in history. On July 8, 1913, the patent was issued for one of the most beloved construction toys ever created, the erector set. Inventor Alfred Carlton Gilbert was inspired by the steel skeletons of bridges and skyscrapers that were transforming America's cities. His idea was simple. Let kids build the same way real engineers did, using tiny metal beams, nuts, bolts, gears, and wheels. And here are some fun facts. Gilbert wasn't just an inventor. He was also an Olympic gold medalist pole vaulter at the 1908 London Olympics, a trained physician, and a professional magician before becoming a toy maker. And although exact numbers aren't available, it's been estimated that more than 50 million erector sets were sold. For generations of young builders, the erector set wasn't just a toy, it was the beginning of a lifelong fascination with engineering, invention, and imagination.
Yes.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Those were our generation's kind of like the
Legos.
Legos, yeah. You know, you'd get this set, and then you get the next one, and then you could add to it, and then you bought one with a motor, and then you got one with the rubber bands and all that stuff.
It was wonderful, and because they were so durable, they got handed down and handed down and handed down. And it was very inventive, you know, with a lot of engineering going on. It really engaged your brain. And by the way, did you see what's going on 42nd Street in New York City? It sounds like they could have used an erector set education.
What's going on with that building?
They got a building that was an office building. They're converting it to apartments, and it's starting to sag and fall down.
Are they going to have to take it down? I think so.
You know, they may very well have to do it. And, you know, this is not far from Grand Central Station. It's on East 42nd Street.
Yeah.
This is a serious thing.
I know. I saw some pictures where the beams actually are bent.
Right. They're bending. And now they say because it is a steel building, it could collapse. But they're saying because it's steel, it would only be a partial collapse.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, by the way, one other quick note. If you have the erector set box, the original box that came in, that's more valuable than the erector set.
No kidding. Yeah. Oh, man.
So don't throw away the box.
Okay.
All right. One other thing is we just saw a clip. The president is there at NATO, and it's only President Trump could sit in the middle of the NATO allies and criticize them. And that's exactly what happened as national security analysis. Rebecca Grant talks about that.
We've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others. You would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. And I've long said that we helped them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down. And Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, you know, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Well, two things here. One, a lot of NATO partners made very weak statements during the combat phase of Operation Epic Fury, and that still really grinds on President Trump. The other thing is there's a backdrop here of the EU antagonism towards U.S. businesses, a lot of our big tech companies. They're trying to write laws that would keep our space companies out of their constellation. So that's a kind of constant background disruption. That said, I think President Trump's presence in Ankara is there to show that NATO can be and needs to be strong. Russia is a huge threat. The European allies are scared to death. They need to up production of Patriots. They need to put an armored brigade combat team in Poland, a U.S. one on a permanent basis. There's a lot to do. So I think he's going to chide them for sure, but then look to move forward.
Wow. Well, that takes a lot to sit there right in front of him and criticize him.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, 10 minutes before the hour, we're going to take a Jerry break. We'll be right back.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. History. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
All right, 8 minutes top of the hour this morning, and Jerry and Perry here with you. One of the things going on behind the scenes is the preliminary trial of the Charlie Kirk assassination case, and this is the trial that you have to determine if you have the evidence to go to a full trial, and it's been very difficult for the family to sit through, let alone Erica Kirk herself. Retired FBI special agent comments on some of the testimony, and here's what he had to say.
Would you please point him out and identify something that he is wearing?
Yeah, I believe that Mr. Robinson is between Miss Nestor and other counsel wearing a grey suit, jacket with a dark tie, and a light-colored shirt.
Because I would ask that the record reflect that Agent Holt has identified the defendant.
There's a really low threshold in a preliminary hearing. This is a prima facie hearing, which just requires that the prosecution put out enough evidence for the judge to be able to bound this over for trial. That is going to happen. And Todd, yesterday, there were no Perry Mason moments. There were no aha moments. It was standard laying out the layout of the campus where Charlie Kirk was assassinated and basically walking through a lot of digital imagery. I think today we're going to move more into some of the evidence related to the weapon that was used and the progress after the assassination itself. Usually the prosecution wants to hold all the really explosive stuff close to the vest for trial. But then again, a preliminary hearing is considered a mini trial, so it basically progresses in the same way. But people that were looking for that one big thing, you know, that one revealing of this critical piece of evidence did not get that yesterday. A lot of it was spatial alignment of the campus and a lot of working through the digital imagery that the State Bureau of Investigation walked through.
Painful, but part of the process.
It is painful, and it just brings up all the emotions that we all went through when the actual, assassination occurred. These are tough times, but we're all watching.
Yep. Got some great guests coming around. So it's been a while since we have Renard Jackson. Look forward to talking to him in a few moments.
Well, we know that heroes come in all sizes, and here is another great example of that.
An 11-year-old Kentucky boy is being called a hero after diving into action to save a drowning man. Avery Woolery spotted the man unconscious at the bottom of an apartment swimming pool. As others stood frozen, Avery grabbed his goggles, dove underwater, and pulled the man to the surface. Once on the pool deck, the man's friend began CPR while someone else called 911. Firefighters say the man was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Avery's father says he's incredibly proud of his son, adding that someone thanked him for teaching the boy how to swim. Thanks to one courageous 11-year-old who refused to hesitate, a stranger was given a second chance.
Wow. And when you look at that, well, first of all, he had the inclination to just go for it, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And then secondly, look how small he is and how big that other guy was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, everybody else is like frozen and he dives in. Did you take swimming lessons when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did.
Are you a good swimmer?
Am I a good swimmer? No. I'm okay. I mean, I don't think...
If I was at the bottom, would you dive in and rescue me?
Not with that leg.
Thanks, man.
It would take 4 of me to get you out of there.
It's all right. You might want to leave me.
Hey, Jerry, good to see you, buddy. Our thoughts and prayers with you. Thanks for being with us today. And we'll keep you keep us posted, and we'll keep your fan club posted, all 3 of them.
All right. Thank you.
I take with you today Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the confidence in what we hope for and is the assurance about what we do not see. That's the definition of faith. Take that with you today.
Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser, producer and host of The Ancient Church. Join me Sunday evenings as we explore Orthodox Christianity, its history, theology, worship, and living traditions.
The Ancient Church, Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Having Kelly's be an automotive shop that takes care of people first is everything that you could hope it could be. Customer service and caring about others first is extremely important, and why we come here and why we keep coming here, and now why our children come here. The first experience they had with Kelly's, got in right away, took care of them, was honest with them, and they were like, I'm going nowhere else but Kelly's from here on out. And so just in one experience, you have 18-year-old kids being like, that's where I'm taking my car.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. Above and beyond what we could ask or imagine, his grace is more than enough. It's in his hands, it's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative. Unchanging truth in an ever-changing world. Turning Point with Dr. David Jeremiah. Wednesdays on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And, of course, what is going on with the subject of abortion in the United States since it's been 4 years since the Roe versus Wade overturn in the U.S. Supreme Court, monumental decision? I'm so delighted to have back with us today Danielle Peitzer, Director of the Sanctity of Human Life for Focus on the Family. And let me just say, we've been carrying Focus on the Family on the Dove radio for 43 years. So we're honored to be partners with them. You can go to focusonthefamily.com is the website. There's a picture of that landing page. Danielle, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you. Good to see you, Perry.
Thank you for your time.
Good. Thank you.
So give us a quick update. A monumental decision, Roe versus Wade, gets overturned by the Supreme Court, heads back to the state. We see numbers going in various directions. What's your take?
Yeah, we do see abortions increasing according to the data. Telehealth has made it a lot easier. The abortion pill has made it a lot easier for women to get abortion pills. But I would say, don't forget that Roe v. Wade was overturned and that several states have extended their care for women. They have more Medicaid provided. They're giving them more resources. And so there is also things to celebrate.
Okay. How bad is the pill issue?
Well, Perry, you're right. It is pretty bad. What we are seeing from insurance claims is that 11%, 1 in 10 women will experience a serious adverse situation where they have sepsis or hemorrhaging and they need an emergency care situation. So that is terrible. And then we also are seeing that women psychologically are not prepared to handle the pain, but also seeing their child. And so it's not being reported very much, but the pill is really bad news.
Is there still, Danielle, any policing going on with the pill being exchanged between states?
Not yet. I am hoping that they will get that settled. I know Senator Josh Hawley has done a lot of work, and states like Louisiana are trying to get that shut down. But right now, unfortunately, pills can be mailed into states that have abortion restrictions.
Do we understand the violation of this? I mean, it not only is the taking of human life, but the violation of just normal medical ethics of giving a pill. I don't know how this ever got through the FDA. Maybe you can explain that. It's now being used. I mean, you can get it almost for no reason at all, send it to somebody else. I mean, this thing is really out of control, and it is really bad. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be objective here. I mean, that seems to be the new battleground.
Yes, you are correct, Perry. It is the new battleground. And it's just, baffling that something like this that hurts women could be so prolific. I mean, we're seeing stories of men who didn't want their girlfriend to be pregnant, ordering the pill themselves, using a fake name, and putting the pill in her drink. And so it's just out of control, sending to states that don't want abortions. It is very concerning.
All right, so where do we go? How do we fight this? What are you guys working on?
Well, that is a great question, Perry. There's a lot of things that we can do and are doing. So one, we obviously know legislation. There's several fronts trying to work on getting the pill banned. We hopefully will see some sort of FDA results this month or soon showing that the abortion pill should be prescribed by a doctor and not just through the mail. But I think also what's the most important thing is that we need to reach hearts. And so we want to walk alongside these women who are in this unplanned pregnancy, who are feeling like they don't have any support. So the stuff that you and me can do is be involved. Start volunteering at your local pregnancy center. Women have said, 60 to 70% of women have said that if they had one person walking with them that's saying, hey, I know this seems scary, but we can do this together. I've got your back. That if they had that one person with them, they would consider parenting or making an adoption plan. And so that's what we want to do as the church is be there, be that one person and support women and help them see the value of life. Most women don't want an abortion. They just feel like this is the only option for them.
Okay, you make a great point here, and that's underscoring the impact, the importance, and really the hard work of these pregnancy care centers around the country. I know there's a lot of pregnancy organizations that are trying to continue the work through legislative processes. That's almost like hitting a brick wall these days since Roe versus Wade been pushed back to the states. So that has a lot to do with the state that you live in. But more importantly, do we understand the value and the importance of these pregnancy centers?
In the work that I do, I love the pregnancy centers. I see them on the front line, and they are amazing. They are the hands and feet of Jesus. I don't know if everybody knows how good these places are. So yes, Option Line is a way to find a local pregnancy center in your area. And what they do is amazing. They walk alongside women, usually for 2 years if they decide to parent. They help them with adoptions. They also help them with resources, diapers, food, tangible resources. Sometimes they know of scholarships and different organizations that will help them out too. So I don't know, they probably are our best kept secret. And everybody should be looking to their pregnancy center and connecting their pregnancy center with a church. Because there's dynamic work happening in both places, and we get connected, and you know, it's unstoppable because God's with it.
There was a time early on during this fight, while Roe versus Wade was still in effect, that there was emphasis put on the post-abortion syndrome. That seems to have faded, but now you've got the post-abortion syndrome as a result of the pill, which is even more horrific. It's not that I want to get it's not that I want to get gore into the news, but on the other hand, the few that I have talked to that have done this pill thing, I mean, they are literally almost, if it wasn't for God, I think they'd be ruined for life.
Yeah. We don't have data yet on how serious the effect is, but you can just imagine if now the abortion clinic is your bathroom, your home. Every time you pass the bathroom, you are reminded of the cramping, the severe blood loss, and then some women are seeing their babies. And in our world where it's saying it's just a clump of cells, it's a real life baby. And so, yeah, you can just imagine that the mental health issues that are going to come out of this is going to be outstanding, as in like really bad. Some women are sharing that on the internet on their own personal experience. And so I know that hasn't gotten out to a lot of people yet. Right. But yes, the gore factor, the trauma, the mental health issues from this, I think we're going to be seeing repercussions. And that's what we're trying to share with people, is that this seems easy. They say it's as safe as Tylenol, but even the abortion doctor that was interviewed a while back couldn't say, yes, it's as safe as a Tylenol, because they're not the same thing. There is a lot of trauma involved.
So what's Focus on the Family doing these days on this issue? Where are you guys?
Well, thanks for asking that, Perry. Yeah. We, again, love the pregnancy centers. We love coming alongside them. And so we continue through our Sea Life grant program and our Option Ultrasound program, bring resources to the pregnancy center. So we have free resources for them. There's videos that they can share with their clients. There is also ultrasound machine grants. There is nurse training. And one of the important things that we've been doing lately is helping them get abortion pill reversal training. So this is something by Heartbeat International, and this allows pregnancy centers to share the good news that a woman who's taken the pill has a choice. If she's decided she doesn't want to go through with that anymore, and she's contacts them quickly, she can get a pill that reverses the effects of the abortion pill. And there are over 8,000 children now that can prove that it's safe and effective.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let me catch that again. There is a pill. So is there a timeline from the time you take the abortion pill where you take this pill?
Yes. So it is progesterone, and that's been used to help with miscarriages for a long time in hospitals through doctors. And so if a woman decides that she's taken the first pill within 24 to 48 hours and she contacts a pregnancy center, they can connect her to a doctor or the Abortion Pill Reversal Network, and they can connect her with a doctor that can get the progesterone to her. Often they're able to reverse the effects of the abortion pill, which is amazing. And like I said, there are over 8,000 children now alive, doing well, very healthy, no side effects that are proof that this works.
That's wonderful. I'm embarrassed to say that Oregon still ranks number 50 in abortion restrictions. We just don't have any, It's a sad thing with all our work. But to your point here, Danielle, I just want to say thank you for not only focus on the family and you guys being there all of these years, but I also want to say thank you for putting the emphasis on these pregnancy care centers. This is the front line. This is where it's happening. This is where you can literally save a life. I understand legislation is part of the problem, but if you really want to save a life today, get involved in your pregnancy care center. That's where it's really happening. So
that's perfect, Perry. We couldn't agree more.
All right, thank you. FocusOnTheFamily.com, that's the place, and we've been a proud partner with them for all these years and continue to do so. Thank you, Donnell. Best to all of you. God bless you, friend.
Thank you. You too.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
We love staying connected with you, our amazing Dove partners. That's why we created the Studio Insider, your complimentary magazine packed with everything happening at the Dove. See how your support is changing lives, check out our TV and radio schedules, meet our team in the staff spotlight, enjoy faith-filled reflections, a fun crossword puzzle, and so much more. It's your inside look at the Dove.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Okay, welcome back. Well, it's been a while and quite frankly too long, but always a joy when we have time to sit down with the man, the legend in his own mind, but he's still a nice guy. Renard Jackson's with us. He's the president and the CEO of Renard Jackson and Associates. He has a website, renardjackson.com, and I see him all over the place doing his job and his passion. He's called of God to do what he does. Brother Renard, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Very good to see you, my friend. Always glad to do your show.
You're the guy. You're the guy. All right. Where are you these days? Where are we talking to you from?
I'm in D.C. today, so you got good timing because I've been all over the country to the Midwest, to the upper Northwest, and upper Midwest. And so I'm at home today.
All right. Good to see you. Thank you, brother. A couple of weeks ago, you wrote, quote, "The black community is a soap opera." Only you could come up with that one. Tell us what's on your mind here, bro.
Yeah, Perry, I tell you, black folks, we are our own worst enemies. We sit up here and allow these liberals to make their agenda our agenda, and there's a big schism. If you look at the what I call media appointed black leaders, the head of the NAACP, the Urban League, Congressional Black Caucus, their leadership is so out of touch and out of tune with the rank and file in the black community. Perry, and you and I have been talking about this forever. And they, meaning the rank and file in the black community, are fed up with these liberal policies coming out of the Democratic Party, but yet they don't feel like the Republican Party welcomes them. So therefore, they're in the political twilight zone. And if we Republicans and conservatives were to ever actively, aggressively reach out into the black community, especially the black entrepreneur, we would totally transform the voting habits of the black community for a generation.
All right, so you've opened Pandora's box here. Let me ask you, number one, the group, the black community that has left the Democratic Party and hasn't gone to the Republican Party, do they lean right or left?
Well, I mean, listen, Perry, it's an interesting question. Rush Limbaugh and I used to have this conversation all the time, and he would always tell me, Jackson, there's a growing trend of conservatism in the black community. I would tell Rush, I said, Rush, you full of crap. Blacks have always been conservative. We taught white folks how to be conservative because even during slavery, Perry, guess what? We found a way to be optimistic and worship our God. We found a way of raising our kids with moral integrity, even in the midst of slavery. And it's amazing. The story that hasn't been told publicly a lot, Perry, is even in slavery, guess what? A lot of black women raised the children of the slave owners. And guess what? They turned out to be, over time, very decent people. And so this notion that blacks are not conservative, Perry, is just not true. And so you don't have to persuade or convince black folks about the conservative agenda. You just have to make us feel like you want us in the movement with you.
Okay.
Because we're going to be conservative with or without you. But I much prefer us be conservative within the confines of this movement that we're building.
That's a beautiful answer. Beautiful answer, Renard. So let me ask you this. Why do you think, why has then the black conservative allowed their image to be hijacked by the liberals?
Well, see, Perry, that's where I would disagree with you. It's not that we have allowed our conservative value to be hijacked. Perry, short of people like you, show me a media outlet that actively and aggressively promotes black conservatives who are doing things the right way, get married before they have kids, take care of the family unit, the head of the household. Perry, and you know, my biggest criticism of the White House is I don't want to see another rapper or athlete standing next to the president. When are you going to show the black businessmen standing next to the president and conservative leaders? They are the gateway into the black community, not an athlete or a rapper with gold teeth in his mouth, or someone like Nicki Minaj, who her lyrics are some of the most filthy lyrics you'll ever hear in music, Perry. That's not the image that we want promoted in the black community. But yet conservatives seem to go after the shining toy under the Christmas tree. And guess what? When you give a kid a toy on Christmas Day, a couple of weeks, Perry, you know the kid is bored with the toy and he's looking for another shiny object to play with.
Gosh, you're on fire today. Okay, let me come to the black church just for a moment. I have enjoyed through the years, in fact, I just had one on yesterday. I have enjoyed through the years interviewing black pastors. I just love it. Primarily, they're so on fire for the gospel. They have a way of communicating unlike anybody. I mean, it's just wonderful. And they're certainly espousing everything you've just mentioned. There's no question about it. But does it translate into votes?
Yes and no. Yes, on a local level, but again, you're talking to someone who makes his living off of communication and crisis management. The people you're interviewing, Perry, I don't know who they are, but I guarantee you they have never stood side to side with the Speaker of the House, who every time he opens his mouth, he's quoting the scripture while he's promoting liberal policies through the Congress. When are these preachers that you're interviewing, Perry, being given a platform at the highest level? So, because again, in communication, Perry, it's kind of like what I call the EEM theory. What the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. We don't see conservative blacks like you're talking about, Perry. We don't hear conservative blacks like you're talking about. Therefore, the mind can't believe that conservatives want blacks like these involved in the party, because where do you, Perry, for example, I'm on the board of directors of Mount Vernon, George Washington's home. The governor of Virginia, the former governor, Glenn Youngkin, appointed me there. I've been on the board for 3 years now. We had this massive celebration last week with the Heritage Foundation, several hundred people. Perry, that couldn't have been more than 5 to 10 black folks there, and not one black person touched the microphone, meaning was a part of the official program. I ended up being so frustrated, Perry, that I ended up leaving early, simply because, and again, this doesn't mean these are racist folk, but Perry, they just don't think about what you and I are talking about when they're planning these magnificent programs. At this event, Perry, America 250, you would have thought America was back 250 years ago, because there was absolutely no diversity at this event whatsoever, zero. And the mere fact that they did not even notice that, that's more alarming to me than if they did notice that, but just didn't give a darn about it. That they are the more dangerous person.
You make a good argument here, brother. Let me ask you one other quick question. Do you think that President Trump has lost the black voter?
Well, Perry, that's a great question. And my answer is, and I'm having conversations at the highest levels of the White House on this very issue as we speak today. Perry, again, Trump has done a great thing on policy that's appealing to the black community. But the way they talk about this issue of race and DEI is off-putting even to me. And I make this known to the highest level of the White House and our congressional leadership. I'm a part of the team. I'm considered an insider, Perry, and I cringe at the way I'm hearing them talk about DEI and things like that. But yet, at the same time, don't tell me what you're against, Perry, unless you're willing to tell me also what you're for. And again, what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. When are we going to see with the eyes diversity with our Republican leadership? When are we going to hear the rhetoric of inclusiveness with the black community, so that our minds can believe that you as a movement want us actively involved, not as a token, not as a diversity pick, but again, where are the leadership in the conservative movement in the black community? Where are they? They, for the most part, they don't exist. And where they do exist, Perry, when is this party, when is this conservative movement, even in the religious circle, when are they going to highlight and showcase and give a bigger platform to these folks who've been in the trenches, who are on our side, but they don't have the platform Al Sharpton has on MSNBC. They don't have the platform the NAACP and the Urban League. We have to create that exposure for them, and we're not doing it, and we never have in my years in this party.
So, I know your passion is for the black entrepreneur, and I totally get it, and I applaud it. A couple questions there. Is black entrepreneurism growing in America?
Oh, without question. Without question. That's the biggest growth in the small business community, is the black community. And within the black community, black females are producing more businesses than any other group in the country. And we're not taking advantage of it. Now, you know my relationship with the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent. He gets it, and I'm actively working with him and his staff to address these issues. We're making progress. My issue, Perry, it's not going as fast as I wanted to go. We're making major progress based on the years you and I have been dialoguing, Perry. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm frustrated that it's not moving faster. And so we got an election coming up in November, Perry. And to be honest with you, if the election were held right now, we'd lose the House and the Senate. And in my view, and rightfully so.
So why isn't the black voter motivated today to get involved in the midterm? I mean, I understand the issue we're talking about, but at the end of the day, it ends up being candidates. What don't they see that they don't like?
It's not that Perry, it's almost like if you own a car dealership and someone walks through the door, isn't it a given that they wouldn't be walking in the door unless they wanted to buy a car? Now, what type of car, how much they're going to spend, that's a different conversation. But the mere fact they walked in the door indicates they're interested in what you're selling. It's up to you to close the deal. And so with the black community, Perry, the Democrats have done a marvelous job of basically driving black folks out of the Democratic Party on issues. Black folks, Perry, when the Supreme Court made their decision 2 weeks ago on the transgender issue, not allowing people with male to play in girls' sport, do you realize, Perry, that the NAACP, go on their website, they issued a press release saying that this is racist and transphobic, and we have to stand with our trans brothers. Well, last time I checked, Perry, trans issues was not part of the NAACP's founding charter. And so a lot of black are being forced out of the Democratic Party on principal issues that they are not willing to compromise on. And we conservative, Perry, have not done anything to say, hey, you're with us ideologically. We want you involved with what can we do to engage with you in your community on the level that you're on. We want your involvement as well as we want your votes. That has not taken place, Barry.
That is a great point. That is a great point. Have you been black most of your life?
Most of my life, Barry. But you know what's interesting? All the black entrepreneurs I bring to the table, Perry, and I got blacks who are doing 4 or 5 up to $22 billion a year in business. I can't get beyond when I bring them to the table. First thing politicians in the House and the Senate want is how big of a check can they write. It's like, no, you're not going to do that to my group. You're going to court them. You're going to build a relationship with them. And if once you get to know them and they know you, the money will come. But that's the first thing they lead with, Perry. And that's been very disheartening to me. And this has been going on for years and years. Right. And money is important, but a relationship is more important. And if you get the relationship, not only will the money come, Perry, but how much is it worth for you to have a businessman in the local community that's normally chairman of the deacon board at church, who's doing $4 billion a year, got 5,000 employees, for him to stand in front of his employees and say, this Senate candidate, this House candidate, this presidential candidate is a great guy. They have been very supportive of our business interests. How much is that worth to a politician? Well, if I had to choose between that and money, give me that endorsement.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. You're absolutely spot on with that. I'm going to run out of time. Good to see you, bro, but I do want to ask you one last question. And I know it's a difficult one, but of all the issues facing the black community, what are the top 2?
Oh, by far, entrepreneurship, economic issues. People need to be able to go to the grocery store, provide for their family. They need a good paying job or an environment where they can create their own business. And number 2, education. Perry, the reason you have this movement of socialism, the girl in Colorado who just beat Diana DeGette, she's 29 years old from Ethiopia. The radical liberals control all of our institutions, the school system, the church system, the corporate system. They have been pushing this socialist indoctrination. So a lot of these guys who are 35 and under, Perry, they only have been taught socialism. They know nothing about conservative value and our founding principles. And we conservatives got to start taking control of these institutions.
All right. Hey, good to see you, brother. Been too long.
Thank you, my man.
Been too long. You're too long. You know, we got to have lunch and spend a couple of hours together sometime.
Okay, good deal. Anytime you want me to, Perry.
Hey, listen, next year the NRB is in Washington, D.C., so maybe we can hook up.
Okay, if you think I'm worthy. I'm not a big shot like Alice in Wonderland.
That's all right. Oh, we'll figure out a way to get your free burger.
You got my attention there. That's a deal. That's a deal.
All right, thanks, bro. Good to see you. Thanks.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay.
In today's world, we've become too used to hearing bad news. Why not help share a little good news instead? With custom-designed messages in both English and Spanish, manufactured right here in the USA. Wearing apparel from Good News Products is a small but mighty way to help lift the spirits of friends, family, coworkers, and more. Visit goodnewsproductsusa.com today. Use the QR code and take 15% off your first order. Good News Products, because everybody loves good news.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Welcome back. There's been an issue that's kind of been in the news lately. It's kind of interesting. The term is called Trump accounts. What are they? How do they work? And they seem to be very successful, not only merging business, investing into the next generation of America. Well, this is quite an issue, and I am really honored to have back with us, been way too long, by the way, to have Mark Manila back with us, who's the host of the Financial Issues Stewardship Ministries. He also has carried on the ministry of the late Dan Celia. He brings over 35 years of experience helping individuals invest with biblical integrity. He founded one of the first investment advisories dedicated to biblically responsible investing principles, co-founded the National Association of Christian Financial Consultants, and created what is the CFCA designation, the first faith-based professional designation in the industry. So a lot going on there. You can go to the website financialissues.org. financialissues.org, and there is a picture of the landing page. Mark, good to see you, friend. How are you?
Thank you, and thank you for having me back. It's such an honor to be here.
You know, we've been unable to do each other's show because you're recording or I'm recording. What happened there? How'd this work out?
I don't know, but I love it that we can make it happen. Thank you for really reaching out and making it happen.
Yeah, let me just say to our viewers,
this is an important topic.
We air your program 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, weekdays on the Dove Television Network. So thank you for quality programming. Thank you, Mark. What's going on with the Trump accounts? How do you explain this?
Well, most people should know about Trump accounts by now. It actually was a great idea, and I think it is a great idea in many ways. The whole idea is that Trump accounts are a way for capitalism to show its best side, charity. It's a way for parents to help their kids get a head start. It's a way for so many wonderful things to happen. One of the things I really like that's happening is that corporations and the very wealthy of America are getting behind it in a way that they're donating billions upon billions to go into accounts for impoverished children that are born into America, and helping to set them up in a way that maybe they can get a good start, like when they turn 18 or 21 or 25 and decide to go to school or decide to start a business. They'll have the money to be able to do that because of what's happening here in America and the kindness and charity of so many people, including the American public, who are financing the first $1,000 into every new baby, or every baby born between, January 1st of 2025 and December 31st of 2028. So it's a neat program, and a lot of people are getting involved with it. But, Harry, there are concerns, and I think that's why we're here today, right?
Yeah, there are, because I don't know if people understand. And to your other point, Mark, among corporations that have helped the president do this, I guess Dell being one of the biggest ones, Dell Computers, dumped a lot of money here. Before we get into the caution part of it, how does it work? So let's say Dell puts in 1,000, and who puts in the other 1,000?
Well, the government, the U.S. government, the federal government, well, let's state that properly. The citizens of the U.S. who are paying taxes puts in the first 1,000 through the U.S. government. And then people like Dell are contributing, but also think about Ray and Barbara Dalio. They're just contributing literally $75 million for children in Connecticut. Hey, I got a list here. Let me Brad Gerstner of Invest America reported that he's given $250 contribution to children in Indiana. Gwynne Shortwell, president of SpaceX, and her husband have donated SpaceX stocks to more than 2 million children. Harold Hamm, listed among philanthropic backers, is giving gobs of money. Nicki Minaj is 150. I think she's a rapper or something, but I'm not familiar with her. There's just all sorts of people giving, but we also have Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, BNY, Citi, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Charles Schwab, BlackRock, State Street Bank. I mean, I could go on now for another 5 minutes of organizations that are either matching donations from their employees to their newborn babies, or are given directly to, for example, one of the criteria some are using, or they're saying, okay, I'm going to donate X amount of billions of dollars or hundreds of millions, but I want it to go to children born in certain zip codes of low-income families.
Oh, okay.
So just a lot of wonderful ways people are contributing. But then parents can contribute too, obviously. Up to $5,000 a year, they can contribute to this. And if you think about that, it's incredible. Even if you just took $1,000, you could have $6,000 to $10,000 by the time you're 18. And if you add to it, you could have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands by the time you reach that age. It is an amazing thing that can change the direction of poverty for the first time in our country. Despite all the crazy liberal schemes to supposedly help the impoverished, this one actually does. The money goes directly to them. It doesn't go through an NGO. It doesn't go through a third-party organization that knows better than those donating who needs the money. It goes directly to them, and it doesn't get 30, 50, 70, or 110% skimmed off the top. So it's an interesting program. But like I said, there's an issue here.
Okay. Are there some biblical yellow lights flashing here?
There really are. Thanks for asking.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. It discriminates against Christians. The bottom line, it really does. The investment account that they allow, when it goes into the account then has to invest it in an S&P 500 index fund. There's only one that they're utilizing right now. and I just don't want to give it any credit, so I'm not going to name the one it is, but an S&P 500 account or ETF, what it does is invest in the larger companies in America, the 500 largest companies in America. Now, that sounds fine because it could help with our economy, it could help with the markets, stabilize them a little bit. But here's the deal. Over 70% of those companies are involved in things that most Christians would avoid at all costs. Abortion, pornography, addictive products. How about promoting and encouraging sexual immorality, anti-God and anti-family values? So what they're asking Christians to do, and as you know, stewardship is a big deal. That's what Financial Issues is all about, helping people to realize that they can manage God's money in a way that honors God. Well, this goes just the opposite. They're asking believers to choose between, I guess, this opportunity and obedience to God's word. And that's just not right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even putting their portfolios together, don't think very deep on some of this stuff. And you make a very good point here, Mark, because are there alternatives for Christians?
Well, there's nothing like this right now. But what we're doing and have been doing is we started a petition to take to the president, to take to Congress, to take to all the senators, to take to everybody, because I really believe this administration, especially Trump, if he realized how he has disfranchised Christians in this, that he would make a change and allow an index in there that reflects Christian values, biblical principles, that allow Christians then to be involved and not have to compromise their values, their faith in doing so. In 1 Thessalonians 5:21-22, it says, test all things, hold fast to what is good, abstain from every form of evil. That covers everything, including our investing. And God expects us to do this. And I really do believe this administration understands this. With all the progress he's made in making sure faith stays at the forefront of politics now, bringing so many people into the White House, supporting the free speech, Christian speech, stopping people from knocking down those laws who were encumbering Christians from sharing their faith. I think he will change it once he finds out. We've written, I believe, over 50 letters and sent the petition to congressmen and senators now, and we're really trying hard, Perry, to get to the president, the vice president, anybody we can with influence to shine the light on this, to make sure they understand what's going on and why so many Christians won't invest or won't participate in this.
Wow. Can you give us any kind of an idea or an update, Mark, on how entrenched is DEI and LGBTQ still in some corporations, even though there's been a move to get it out? How many are still kind of wink and it's still there?
Yeah, an ideology is hard to kill. Mm-hmm. So what we've been seeing is, yes, when the money runs out, when the organizations, the NGOs, that were fed by our taxpayer dollars through previous administrations to encourage and bribe companies to do this, ran out. A lot of companies switched gears real quick. That was good. Others, they just changed the names of what they're doing. They keep their human resources, the people that were the DEI Gestapos in place, and they just changed the names of what they're doing. So that's why we're really glad that a lot of people are interested in this. We do watch for that. We use evaluator services, which you're very familiar with, to screen companies to make sure they're not promoting and or involved in things that would cause somebody to stumble on their way to Christ or in their walk with Christ. And DEI, ESG, most of the liberal alphabet games do that kind of stuff.
All right, let me take a quick break here. Let me say to reviewers and listeners, check out Mark's website, financialissues.org. There's a picture of the landing page. Very, very resourceful, and certainly support them. And, of course, you can see his program here weekdays at 5 o'clock on the Dove TV network. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. Our VAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
Real Life with Jack Hibbs, now on the Dove TV every weekend. Direct from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, Jack challenges today's generation to understand and practice the biblical worldview, verse by verse, addressing key cultural and daily life issues. Deepen your walk with Christ to make an effective impact on your world. Don't miss Real Life with Jack Hibbs, Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Okay, welcome back, and honored to have with us today Mark Manell. It's been a while since we've had him. Always a joy when we get him, and he's the host of the Financial Issues program, which is seen right here on the Dove Television Network. He's all heads up the Financial Issues Stewardship Ministry, which is an outstanding organization. And again, go to financialissues.org. Mark, kind of going up to 30,000 feet if we can for a moment. The market's an all-time high. So is our debt, and so are gas prices. What's your take?
I think that's a good summary. Things are going crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know what my take is that I have to read the news every day. I have to listen just like you do, Perry. That's what we do to help our partners, our listeners, our viewers to be the best stewards they can be with what God has entrusted them. We need to know what's happening. And one of the things I see has happened in the media and has been happening for quite a long time is how they always lean to the negative. Maybe that's a better selling point for commercials and being a carrying agent for commercials and stuff. But when you look at our economy, when you look how well it's held up under war, under the political prosecutions, under everything that's been thrown at it, we're really in a pretty good place. Yeah, the markets are a little high. We need to be pulling back, but there's also a lot of opportunities in the stock market still. Clean opportunities, biblically responsible opportunities. There's also in our economy, real wage growth has slowed down, but what we're looking at, of course it has. We had a war, we had a few things, but not to the point like we've seen under other administrations like the last one, where we have a negative 2 or 3 or 50% difference in the wage growth and the inflation or more. We're seeing just very little pullback, which I think can easily be corrected and is correcting itself over time. The debt's at the all-time high, and if you've watched the show, which I know you have and others have, that is one of my biggest concerns for America is the debt of the United States. I think it's one of the biggest risks to bringing the United States down is our debt. When our debt gets so big that we start having problems selling the treasuries to finance the debt and or being able to pay the interest on the debt that's already been financed, we'll lose the dollar as the trading currency of the world. When that happens, we'll also see people pulling out of our debt, and that could cause a lot of defaults, and it could cause a long period of financial issues that none of us want to go through. Now, I say all that, but my hope is, having seen what this administration has done in a short period of time, they've laid a foundation to get into the debt. And I really have a strong hope that we're going to see the debt actually reduce by the end of the year. I don't do projections ever, but when you see everything needs put in place for our economy, it looks like a good possibility that we could be in a better position at the end of the year and then launch the next year, especially if he gets the right Congress in there. If this midterm, the Christians show up and vote for those people who are fiscally responsible, who will elect people who will guide this country in a positive way, who will get people in who will do their job. You know, I don't want to talk negatively, but I get so despaired by our House of Representatives not doing their job.
Yeah.
And we need to get those out who refuse to do their job and get those in who will.
A couple questions out of that. Mark, the quick question is, so where would the money come from to pay down the debt this year?
Well, actually, to reduce the debt, we need to reduce the spending.
Okay.
If we don't issue new debt, the debt comes down because old debt goes away, for one.
Okay.
Some of it will come from the tariffs. Some of it will come from the reduction of spending. I saw a headline saying Doge is retired now without reaching their goal of $2 trillion, as if, they failed. We're talking about they actually exposed over $2 trillion in waste and fraud that our administration is currently trying to get rid of. But because of the way our country is set up, they can't just cut it all out. Some of it has to go through Congress. Some of it has to be voted on. Some of it has to change. So we'll see things like that happening. That reduction alone could help. We'll also see GDP with the economy, the resilience of this economy alone, if we get past this war, would be incredible to reducing the debt. Just the revenues generated from the growth of our economy can help do that.
Are you concerned about inflation?
Always. Mostly the inflation that is created by the Federal Reserve, though. Mm-hmm. Natural inflation isn't as bad of a thing as inflation that's created by, when I say natural inflation, what I'm talking about, Perry, is if you have products and you can only manufacture so much of them and there's a whole bunch of dollars chasing it, that product will go up in price naturally. That's natural inflation. But artificial inflation by the Fed is just printing more money. Mm-hmm. And the way they do that is issuing treasuries and then buying them, issuing them out of thin air and then putting them on their balance sheet. Now, we have a new Fed chair who says they're going to reduce the balance sheet. That, too, will help with the debt because as we reduce the balance sheet, we won't be able to sell as many to keep that reduction going because less and less people at this point are buying the bonds that are being put out as a percentage of the overall debt until that gets back into whack. We're seeing other major countries slowing down on their purchases of new debt from the United States. So that's going to help bring it down to.
Yeah, right.
But that artificial inflation, when you hear the Fed chair or the previous Fed chair talk about we want inflation down around 2%. They actually mean we're going to keep it at 2% by issuing enough cash and forcing more money into the economy to keep enough dollars chasing products and services that it inflates. Well, I think that's a big mistake. I think it's a wrong mistake. They think inflation helps grow the economy. I think it hurts the economy. And I think we can prove that over the long term here. The previous administration talked about deflation being a bad thing, which it could be for companies that are heavy in debt. It could be a bad thing for organizations and companies that rely on their debt, and then they can't sell their products or services as a higher margin that they needed to maintain the debt that they took on.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible, Perry, how smart God is and how he warns us about debt so much?
Yep.
But deflation would help the average person in the sense that it would bring the cost of living down. Now, it could cause some companies to go out of business, but some companies need to go out of business.
Yeah, I get that.
110% debt to equity. You got to be concerned about abuse that's going on with that.
Let me squeeze in one more question, Mark. What do you think of the job that Secretary of Defense doing?
I don't know any better way to say it. I love it. Okay. I actually do. He's building and creating a machine that will help sustain peace, that will help bring peace as much as is possible in this fallen world, at least for America and hopefully for all the others around the world. I know there's a lot of people who don't like him. I know there's a lot of people who say he's being way too conservative in what he's doing. But look, when we have people competing to get into the armed forces, to enroll, to volunteer, that is a good indication we're on the right track. When we have the weaponry to do the types of things we did in Iran, can you imagine what the leaders of Russia and China and any of our Iran or outside of Iran thought when Trump did what he did in those few days and those couple of weeks in the Iran war, and with the weaponry and the conviction that we did? They all had to sit up and rethink their whole worldview going forward, how they're going to deal with the United States, because we won't be threatened because of what this administration and Pete has done.
Mark, 30 seconds or so. Tell people about financial issues and the services you guys provide.
Well, thank you. Financial Issues was established specifically to help all individuals realize how to be the best stewards they could with what God has entrusted to them. We help them understand it, learn about it, give them the tools to do it for themselves, or give them the guidance to find people to help them do it. Our whole goal is to help people grow closer to Christ through their investments, not despite.
Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the work that you do. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, go to their website, financialissues.org. Support them. There they are. Check out the program that Mark hosts right here on the Dove Television Network, weekdays at 5 o'clock. Thank you, buddy. I don't know how this worked out, but let's do it more often.
It's an honor, Perry, and I look forward to getting you on our show as soon as we can. We'll find a time.
All right, buddy. Thank you. God bless you, friend.
God bless.
Okay.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
In today's world, we've become too used to hearing bad news. Why not help share a little good news instead? With custom-designed messages in both English and Spanish, manufactured right here in the USA. Wearing apparel from Good News Products is a small but mighty way to help lift the spirits of friends, family, coworkers, and more. Visit goodnewsproductsusa.com today. Use the QR code and take 15% off your first order. Good News Products, because everybody loves good news.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine,
Get the day's top news from a Christian worldview. CBN Newswatch, weekdays at noon and 4:30 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. And I tell you what, folks, we have a very special surprise today for you. As you know, on Wednesdays, we call it the surprise guest host. Well, we went over the top to get today's guest host. And only because we caught him doing something that he shouldn't be doing, so then now there's no more excuses why he couldn't be on the air. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Bilden from...
A little bit of lawn mowing, and look what's happening as a result.
He's at the Northern Command this morning. Steve is the Southern Command. Jerry's up at the Northern Command. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. You're looking good.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Oh, man, I can't tell you how good it is to be here. The coffee's warm, and the lawn is mowed, edged, and...
You didn't edge it.
No, Pam, I can't do that.